Hello everyone! Welcome to Star Trek Impact. Ooh. I'm Chris, I will be your games master for tonight, and we are playing Star Trek Adventures, published by Modiphius Entertainment. And we are pleased to be streaming at twitch.tv/Modiphius and twitch.tv/AdventurersWanted. So, some of you may be new to Star Trek Adventures, that's entirely possible. Star Trek Adventures, if you're a D&D player, works similarly but differently. You roll 2d20 instead of 1, and 1s are good and 20s are bad. So, if you're a D&D player, that will become really... but you'll get over it. It'll be fine. You'll be fine. No, good.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Splendid. Otherwise, this works very similarly to a standard RPG. I will describe the world and the situations. The players will describe what they would like to do, and then they roll, have character sheets that tell them what they add or subtract to those rolls, and so we tell our stories together. Right, I will get into sort of what is happening in Star Trek world before we dive too far into the adventure, but before we do, can everyone go around the table and please give your name and your pronouns? And do we want to introduce character as part of the story? So have a moment when each character is introduced. We want to introduce all the characters now and then see where they fit in. What does everyone think? I'm fine with
I think the story's
I think,
nice.
I do like
I think that's
but
cool.
It means people might miss it, and I don't...
I do quite like the snapshot in. You might be wondering how I got here.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Perfect. You can give your name.
The intro to Baba O'Reilly starts over a freeze frame.
Hi, I'm Chloe, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Grace, and I use they, them pronouns.
Hi, I'm Chazz. I use he, him pronouns.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I also use he, him pronouns.
I'm Chris, and I use he and they pronouns. So before we kick off, the stream will run for approximately 3 to 4 hours, and there will be a 5 to 10 minute break somewhere near the middle. Oh. We are sponsored by Ultra Pro and D&D Beyond. They are our sponsors for everything that we do here at Adventurers Wanted. Ultra Pro make peripherals, dice bags, that sort of thing. They're currently really pushing a Xanathar, the Beholder dice bag, which you can check out online at ultrapro.com. D&D Beyond, on the other hand, make D&D rules compendium. You can use a phone app and various other things to play D&D online, which allows you to have various different access points with your friends for playing D&D in a group, which is fantastic.
It makes life so much easier.
It does. If you have a lot of characters. I've got 134, I think, on mine. Yeah.
Wow.
That's too many. That's just too many characters.
That's just too many.
Anyway, thank you D&D Beyond, and thank you Ultra Pro, as always, for sponsoring everything that we do. Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans-positive, and we encourage trans and non-binary characters in our games. The DM and players may portray characters that are of different gender to their own, and while we aim to avoid misgendering, we do appreciate it does sometimes happen. So if you hear or see something that you'd like us to correct or amend for future streams, let us know, pop something in the chat, or send us a message on social media. Lovely. Right, without further ado, Star Trek.
Adventures.
Oh, no.
Don't know if we're allowed to use that music.
Okay. We are not. Do not do it. So, I would give the start date, but I've now been reliably informed that start dates are out of fashion because Picard doesn't use them.
Oh.
The TV show doesn't use them.
Are we playing in that star date? So surely it doesn't.
Well, I'm just not going to use them anymore. I'm tired of star dates. It was nice. The producer actually turned around and went, "It's a really dumb thing. It's supposed to give you information. It gives you absolutely nothing."
Yeah.
Just numbers.
Yeah. So, the star date is irrelevant. It is...
The star date is the concept of blue. That's the information you get.
That's the sound of 1,000 DMs being typed.
It is during the Dominion War, but you are not in the Dominion War. Your ship has been taken out of that Dominion War because of, as Starfleet would have it, and Starfleet quite likes to have it, something strange has been discovered in the Beta Quadrant.
Ooh.
Yeah. Quite specifically, Starfleet has, with long-range probes and scanners, detected flashes of Tetrion radiation. This is very strange. Tetrion radiation, as all of you know, obviously. Yeah, definitely. Good, I see all the nods there. Good.
Yes.
Tetrion radiation is particularly important in warp drive and how to make warp drive function, which implies there is a warp-capable species in this remote portion of space. And warp-capable species are people the Federation want to meet and get to know and make part of the Federation if they're nice. That's generally been their modus operandi, and especially with the current war with the Dominion, a sort of negative version of that if you're not a Starfleet person. Star Trek person. Especially with the war on, new allies, people who could help them, especially with new technology and new ideas about how to run things, might be very useful. So your ship is currently on its way, quite a high warp factor, to this strange planet with no name, because it is a very long way out of the way.
Does our ship have a name?
Your ship does have a name, but you know what? I'm going to let you lot decide what your ship is called.
Why is it not immediately important to you as to why our ship doesn't have a name?
I'm going to defer to the people who have a bit more... who might come up with something more Star Trek evocative.
Yeah.
It's always called something like the Intrepid or the Boundless.
Just think you're on The Apprentice and you're choosing a team name. Basically, that's what it is.
Surely it's the Unsinkable.
It feels
Titanic.
relevant. Yeah.
I mean, that would kind of be amazing if they're just like, listen, it's been hundreds of years. We can call the ship the Titanic again. Yeah.
Let's call the ship the Titanic.
Yeah.
Why not? Plot spoilers abound. Your ship, the Titanic. And I'm going to say for the record, because it's called the Titanic, it's very large.
Yeah.
Big old ship.
Big old ship. It's got a ballroom. No.
There's a pianist constantly playing. No. It is an exploration. It's Galaxy class ship. They are much like the traditional next generation Enterprise Galaxy class ship. They are very large. They are full of science officers, and this is not a mission of war. And for some of you, it not being a mission of war would be a particularly nice thing for you, because some of you have been involved in the Dominion War, and the chance to get away from it is certainly not a bad thing. Your captain, Captain Alvarez, is directed all of you to be prepared for when you arrive, but has also given you the run of the ship, and you could be doing anything. Where would your characters be? And again, if you're not a big Star Trek person, give me an idea of what sort of thing you want your character to be doing. And we can work
What pronouns does Captain Alvarez use?
Alvarez uses they, them pronouns.
I would 100% be in engineering.
Of course you would. So let's move to engineering then. Yeah. Engineering on a Galaxy-class starship is a very large engine core with a constant low thrum. People walking around this space, working on various Geejors, doodads, and other computer screens. Technobabble. Working on the dilithium injector matrix and other such important parts of how the ship works. Where do we find your character? What do they look like? And what is their name?
My character is Lieutenant Einril Zukok, who is a Betazoid, uses he, him pronouns, 37 years of age, fresh back on the job after an injury sidelined him. So currently doing a basic diagnostic scan, making sure that everything is up, and perhaps conveying some concerns to the chief of engineering about going near a planet with this amount of radiation without proper shielding on the warp core.
Fire away.
If you could convey to the captain that we do need to divert some of the shielding. I understand it's important to shield the whole outer hull, but if we could even just 5% would be enough to stop any sort of leakage. You understand what happens when a warp core overcharges? Because the warp core moves and the rest of the ship doesn't. It'll tear a hole right down the middle of this.
Okay. I mean, I am the chief engineer on this ship.
Yes, I know you've been thinking that since I started talking to you.
Yeah, right. Look, I understand there's a small amount of concern about these sort of things, but we're experienced officers. You're new to the Titanic, and you have to understand that we have a very...
I thought we were going to get through it. We couldn't get through it.
You're new to the Titanic. I think you have to understand we are very experienced, and we can be pretty sure that things are going to go the way we want them to.
I understand. You find me annoying. That's great. I
didn't say that.
No, but you thought it, so...
Lieutenant, would you mind going over all of the power couplings on board ship and making sure that they are aligned properly?
Sure. Send me away with busy work. It's a great idea.
The chief engineer just has a slight moment of, just another day working with Lieutenant Zuko.
Sorry, Lieutenant passive aggressive.
So you are being sent around the ship. Literally busy work. Go and unplug and plug everything in again, basically, is what you're doing. Who might Lieutenant Zukok, while unplugging and plugging everything in again, encounter in the corridors of the ship?
I'm going wherever I'm told to, because this is the first assignment I've had out of Starfleet. So
you are heading down a corridor from your quarters where you settled in. Maybe this is the start of your shift. That's a very nice way to do it. So at the start of your shift, you are heading towards the medical bay, and on your way, you pass by someone fiddling with panels and gears in the side of the ship, in the side of this corridor.
Who did the camera see?
Who does the camera see?
The
Hustling down the corridor, full speed, maybe slightly late,
yeah, sure.
There we go. Or precisely on time.
I think on time, or if she is late, because she, her pronouns for Dr. Krista Weaver. If she is late, she wouldn't show it.
Dr. Krista Weaver, you're an ensign. You'd probably be Nurse Krista Weaver.
Nurse Krista Weaver, thank you. If she is late, she's not like shuffling in a way of like, oh no, I'm late. She's just like, shuffling isn't going to get me there that much faster. Like, it is what it is. Walking down the corridor, you see a human woman who has kind of short black hair. Not particularly kind of like no other big distinguishing features to her. I think she's quite tall. I think was established in her future in one of the other games. Yeah, and she probably walks and I don't know, she's probably being absent-minded and just walking along, sees. I mean, what does it look like, the kind of work that you're doing?
It basically looks like somebody pulling out a cable, doing that. Looking at them, scanning, and then being like, of course. Moving on to the next one.
I think just the thought in her head, obviously she doesn't say it out loud, but she can't help it, is just... Wow, that looks boring. And just...
Yeah, it's incredibly boring.
Sorry. I didn't mean to be offensive.
No, you weren't being offensive. I just can't turn it off sometimes, so...
And then all of it is just in her head of like, can't turn it off. Don't think of anything. Just don't think, because can't turn it, don't...
Could you please stop? Could you?
It's fine. I'm just gonna go where I need to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
And don't worry about being late. Nobody. Man.
Okay. Right.
Nobody, man.
and like now is walking at a faster pace to be like, I don't know what the range on this is.
Are you thinking I don't know what the range on this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
30 foot.
Which of the two of you would potentially be in sickbay so early in the day?
Ooh, maybe me.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, potentially. Is there somewhere where people might be doing like training on board? Is there like a holodeck?
There is a holodeck on board.
might...
Yes, canonically there's a holodeck on board a Galaxy class ship, and you can set that to be whatever you want it to be. So any kind of particular training you were doing, it could be anything. There could be deep sea diving, could be horse riding.
It's horse riding. It's not. I think what I might have been doing, because my character Vicina, who uses Vicina's name as Vicina's pronouns, is a Danubian. I was going to fly through that with such confidence. My character is a Denobulan who is fairly short, fairly squat, sort of light-coloured skin, very short hair, and sort of facial crests that look almost like scales around the outside of Vicina's face. And Vicina would have been very recently on the Titanic after... being
Sorry, I can't do it. It's called the Titanic, but I'm going to have to stop sneering.
After recently having been reassigned. So I think if Vicina had any time to this inner self, I might have been going through on like a hollow program, basically the situation that got me here, and seeing whether I could have done it any better.
Right, I see.
So
how did you injure yourself in that process?
Exactly the same reason, exactly the same way as I got myself here. I crashed the shuttle again.
For the audience, would you like to describe what happened to you and why the shuttle crashed? And also, holodecks have a security feature where they can't hurt you unless you turn the security features off.
Otherwise, it's not realistic.
Okay.
How else are you going to learn from your mistakes?
Great. I know I'm interacting with you. Go on.
So Vasina would have made some interesting decisions on my last mission, where I thought I knew a lot better than the commanding officer, who thought that it was worth making some sacrifices of some of the local population. I thought I could do one better and save them, and commandeered a shuttle and took it down and crashed it and got really hurt and didn't make anything better at all.
No, you did not.
I didn't learn anything from that then, so I'm going to try and learn something from it now, and I will also fail.
Well, as Krista arrives in sick bay, you are sat to one side. I think something quite minor, like probably a wrist injury.
Yeah.
Sat in non-emergency. The doctor is currently dealing with 4 other patients. You and goes, can you and just turns and starts dealing with someone who's very clearly suffering from something much worse.
Sure.
Coughing awkwardly.
I turn and I basically go to you, and I'm pretty. I haven't yet become abrupt, so I'm just looking at like focuses for the future. Hi, would you like to follow me?
I thought you said you hadn't yet become abrupt. Sorry.
Oh, you'll know when I'm abrupt.
Yes, of course. Yes, sure.
Okay, and I take you through to whatever.
There's a little side bit with it.
It's this one. By the.
Okay, one moment.
Assuming that you realise that. Sorry.
I go through standard things of like, does this hurt? Like slightly manipulating fingers, thumbs, joints, and stuff to isolate what it is. Even though there's like loads of equipment there that could do it, for some reason Krista seems to much more prefer that kind of stuff. But then
you roll me a medicine task with any of your attributes. You can argue which one you'd like to use.
Wow, I'm sure going to start this mission.
Insight. Is it insight or reason in terms of kind of...
Reason would be the more like medically what's wrong with this race. Insight would be what the heck was Vasina doing.
Oh, I see. Okay, so reason and medicine, so that's a 12.
Yeah, you've got to roll a 12 round.
Right, that's...
You rolled 2.
I rolled a 10 and a 15.
Cool, so you have 1 success, which is what you needed to succeed on this task, but you get no momentum.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
Oh, this is... Yeah, it's how did you injure yourself? And this is whilst I'm getting the relevant things. I assume actually now I resort to whatever... I don't know what technobabble to use.
It's a glowing light with a little thing you press and then their arm's better.
Amazing.
That's not very technobabble at all.
Oh, sorry, it is a bone...
The cartilage regenerator.
It's a cartilage regenerator.
Yeah. That thing. And this is while I'm finding it in amongst other bits, because I haven't quite learnt the layout of this area yet.
Just, exercising.
Has like a little thought, but doesn't say it. Because someone's injured their wrist and has called it exercising. But knows better than to say the concept, sorry. And takes
what happens on the Titanic?
Takes the cartilage. The cartilage regenerator, just hold your arm out like that.
I mean, isn't it better if I hold it like that? For, like, to get to the problem.
I mean, fine if you're apparently the nurse here. And then
It'll take longer than that. It's a...
No. Okay, then just awkward silence. This takes time, and you told me how to do my job.
Well, I mean, actually, it's just surely if it's coming from, like, here.
How often have you injured yourself? This feels like this isn't new.
How recently are we talking about?
Let's not put a time limit on it.
Once or twice? Or 3 times? Or...
I see. Okay.
It's taking a long time.
The door to the medibay opens and Captain Alvarez walks in. Cena.
I'm still like holding the thing. I'm not helping in this whole.
They walk over to where you are and just stand in front of the bed.
Captain.
Would you like to explain what you were doing, Ensign?
Exercising. Captain, running through exercises and procedures.
Can I recommend that we still heal you while you have this conversation? Because you're in sickbay, so it's kind of already obvious.
Thank you, Ness. Ensign, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand that you're trying to fix this.
Well, actually, I mean, like, less of a situation of fixing, more just trying to move forward.
If you were moving forward, you wouldn't be replaying the same scenario over and over again with the security settings off.
It was just the once.
And so you were reassigned to the command division because you showed active thinking, wanting to do things, wanting to take command of situations. An important part of taking command is knowing when something is safe. And this wasn't safe. If you want to replay what happened and try and find a better way of dealing with how you behaved, leave the security settings on. I need you fit to do your job. Do we understand each other?
Yes, Captain.
Thank you. Well, I need you on the bridge. Come with me, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll try,
Exercising less?
being safe.
In your endo. Right, so the captain walks briskly out of the medical bay and with you towards a turbo lift, which is a lift.
Sorry, this lift's not working.
Occupied.
Doing the
Are
like.
you legit in the lift saying occupied?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Lieutenant, sorry, I don't know your name.
It's Lieutenant Zukak, not Lieutenant Weirdo, as some of the people you've heard call me.
No, I haven't.
Ah, well.
And just to be clear, if you're telepathically engaging with the captain is a warm, gentle, kind soul and genuinely wants you to integrate and fit in well and is upset the crew are not treating you better.
Oh, well, that's really nice.
Gotta be the captain great. I mean, you know, that's the important part of the game is the captain's great. Captain's always great.
Well, I just need to put these couplings back together and we'll be on our way.
Well, then we will wait on you.
Well, you won't have to wait long.
The thoughts that you hear is just like, I'm sure that's not meant to attach there, but I keep them to myself because no one can hear my thoughts.
They actually do attach there together. I mean, it's a common misconception. You're thinking about the previous class of starship, so...
The captain just leans quietly back and just gonna watch this.
I mean, it could be more efficient, surely, if you attach the energy output to...
Well, I have thought of that, but apparently things have to be run in one particular way.
If you have a suggestion of how something could be run more effectively, I'm happy to hear it.
Is there a skill associated with doing this correctly? Because it feels like there might be, but...
It's an engineering skill, yeah. Now, you may want the engineer to perform the engineering skill, and you may want to help the engineer perform said skill, and between the two of you, you might be able to succeed on making the ship, the lift better. It makes the lift better.
The lift better.
Or turbo.
Yeah. I think just sort of like looking over your
Less
shoulder.
energy wastage, I'm going to say. Less energy wastage.
Yeah. If you would allow this asshole to assist you.
Yeah. Well, any solution that you think of.
I just... It's not even active assistance. I'm just like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to roll me an engineering and... what are you using as one of your attributes for this? And you get to roll 1d20 to help.
Yes.
So what would you like to use for this as well?
Am I using... I suppose I could be using control or reason, maybe? Because I'm sort of almost... I'm trying to put in a sort of a commanding position in as backwards a way as I possibly can, of course. But
control is often associated with fine detail, so it could be more that sort of thing.
Control and engineering.
Yeah, absolutely fine. And you're working together on this because you are currently telepathically engaged with each other.
And I'm going to use my... Can I use my reason in engineering?
Of course you can.
Excellent. Just have to roll that.
And what are your focuses, please? You don't have one about ship's mechanics particularly, do you?
I have one about computers, but not so much general engineering one.
Nothing specifically about this kind of engineering? What are they? Read out. Miter plane?
I mean, jury rigging.
Sort of.
You don't want to jury rig the ship.
Jury rigging, warp field mechanics, and starship engines, so nothing quite as...
Not as specific as... No, so you don't have any focuses in this, so it's just the rolls.
I do have one in observation.
Interesting.
Which is what I am practicing.
It's a 1 and a 5.
Smashed.
Let's go with the initial thing that we have without focuses, because we don't need any more here.
I rolled the number that I'm trying to meet. What does that mean?
It means you're trying to hit the number or below.
Yeah. Yes, I rolled that number.
Oh, that means you hit it, yeah.
I hit it, okay, great.
No problem.
Yes.
So we have 4 successes on something that only required 2, so you as a team gain 2 momentum.
Yay!
Yeah, up a 5.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to thank you.
Good work, Lieutenant.
It's turbo or
There's less power, it doesn't matter. The captain just looks at you both and... Good. Thank you.
Anytime, Captain. And with the power that we've saved, might I recommend rediverting some of the remaining power to the warp core shielding, considering the radiation that we're about to fly into, risk of overload could be significant.
Sure, that sounds like a great idea. I mean, it won't be a huge amount from one turbo lift, but I suppose if we applied this to all of the turbo lifts, there'd be a significant boost.
When I get a free moment, I'll start.
I'll run it past the chief engineer first, if it's all right with you. But,
that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I actually need to go back down, so.
Ensign with me, please. As you walk out of the lift with the captain in, I'm just going to... You go. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And you step onto the bustling bridge of the starship, Titanic.
Lots of lens flares.
Lots of lens flares. No. Sorry, we're not in the Kelvin timeline. No lens flares. None at all. Not one. That's the wrong Star Trek.
But we are on the bridge of the Starship Titanic, not to be confused with the Douglas Adams PC game Starship Titanic.
Oh, thank you, Chazz. Well, there we go. As you walk onto the deck of the ship, the bridge of the ship, sorry, it is busy. People are moving around, lots of chatter. You haven't spent much time on the bridge of a starship. It's not really been your forte. You were in the engine room, you're an engineer, and you're now an ensign in the command. So you're wearing the red uniform. You are very much, someone who's going to supposed to be in charge of ships someday, but you're not at the moment. And as you move forward, where would you be on the bridge? Would you be in the security console? You'd be flying the ship? Where do you think you...
No, the flying thing is more of almost like a hobby, but it's just something he's into. Like, seriously, he's like...
The other really important skill I have is a hobby.
Yeah. So he would be at the command console checking out security.
The security console, which is behind the captain's desk.
I mean, I hate to take us out of it, but for the rest of us, the really important skill that we have that's a hobby is playing role-playing games. So, like...
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, continue.
Right, so the captain gestures you over to the helm. There is someone sat in the helm seat, and the captain goes, "You take over the flight, please, ensign."
I will.
I look up at that.
Lieutenant Commander, right, is your...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so here's Lieutenant Commander. Lieutenant Commander, guns. As you want to describe, Casey, as you look up at that, there's a very, a shot of a character looks up, who may be important later in the episode.
Strangely played by an actor who's slightly too, important.
Yeah. I was just like, wait a second, you're a famous character actor.
The Casey is, he looks human, but is in fact a Trill, and you can...
Delightful spots.
Yes, you can tell, and he has the spots actually go around him and come up his neck. So like that. So, yeah,
he's a badass Trill.
He is. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if Trill spots do that, but for our game they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And if they don't normally do that, it's an aberration. So, he's 30, and he has. Do we want a bit of character background? Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Just a little bit. So he comes from a very busy colony. He worked with traders. He was the muscle on trade ships, and has parlayed that into a career after helping Starfleet with a mission, and has risen through the ranks more quickly because of his previous experience, which has come in very handy.
Casey also canonically looks like a badass. We established this, haven't we?
Oh,
yeah.
Despite his fitness stats, he looks like a badass.
It's not that kind of big, strong. It's more kind of live.
It's like a Mo Farah.
Yeah,
it's like a Mo Farah.
This has framed the scene beautifully in my head.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you look up at that as you take over, and the other officer gets up from their chair and goes somewhere. This seems to happen all the time in the TV show, so we're going to roll with it. The random extra gets up and just walks off.
But it's what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, I look up a little bit quickly, because I've read your security reports before you came on. Is what it is. And so I look, and I almost look at the captain as if not to question it, but slight head to the right.
Captain sits down in the captain's chair.
Okay.
Gets you to lean forward over the security console slightly awkwardly.
Yeah.
What?
No, it's good.
No, it's fine.
Is there any reason why?
Yep.
Okay, that's great. I'll go back to work if that's all right.
Okay, look. Hang on, I'll come to you. So I'm playing it their mates. Remember when you were young?
Yeah.
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 Cool.
But also as counter argument to that.
But
remember when I was young?
Yeah. And now you're the security officer on board a starship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, don't question my orders, Lieutenant Commander.
I didn't question.
Yeah.
There was
rank on you.
This captain has now very swiftly just become you.
Listen, I don't want you to treat me like the other captains. Chair the other way around.
No. I'm playing that they've circulated.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I'm just saying. I think the last thing Vicina was flying maybe didn't go so well.
It was a shuttle. It's very hard to crash a starship.
Oh,
And the Titanic is very soft.
It's weird. The dramatic irony levels are spiking.
Why do I break everything I touch?
Okay.
Look, if you want to keep an eye on Vicina, keep an eye on them. I'm not going to keep an eye on. If you want to keep an eye on Vicina, keep an eye on Vicina.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you not to. And sure, if you want to check Vicina's work behind the scenes, that is your prerogative. But you've got to give Vicina some space to learn.
Okay. We all need to learn.
Exactly.
I'd like to give the impression that I know exactly what I'm doing.
It's already doing what it needs to do. You don't need to do anything.
I'm just...
Are you like readjusting the seat?
just setting up the contrast on the screen.
Let me just. We're still in space. Yep.
Wow, that is a warp core. Shit, what's that person doing? That's not sanitary.
Someone coughs and wipes a hand on the glass display. Well, you are all. The ship is cracking along at a relative pace, and roughly an hour later, you arrive at this unnamed planet. It has a name, but it's a series of numbers and letters because it's only been marked by probes. No one's ever been here before. And as the ship gets close, Captain turns to you and goes, "Ensign, would you mind taking us out of warp, please?"
Of course, Captain. Bringing us out of warp in 3, 2, 1.
Can you please roll me a con check with, again, one of the stats that most befits this situation, one of our attributes most befit this situation.
I really want it to be control, but also because I'm a bastard, I really also want it to be presence, because I'm much worse at that.
If you wanted to, control would be the fine-tuning of using a ship that would make sense. You could use daring if you were like, I'm going to skid to a cool stop.
That's exactly what I'm going to do,
Think about how nice the captain's being to you. It's up to you what you do with your time.
No, they have just find me in the medical bay. I am going to use control and con, if I may.
You may absolutely roll 2d20.
I roll.
Please note you currently have 2 momentum, and the scene is probably going to end relatively soon.
I'm going to see what my result is, if I may, and then I'll see... this is not a small craft. Is taking a ship out of warp a maneuver, Chris?
Yes. I mean, it's not one of your maneuvers. It's not a crazy maneuver. Unless you try and do a 3-point landing, then...
You 3-point land a ship?
I don't know. Unless it's like a hand.
I mean, not with that attitude.
If one of my focuses is maneuvers, do I get to double my successes as I bring the ship out of warp with alacrity?
Yes, I think you do.
Okay, thank you. So that means it's just 2 successes.
2 successes on 2d20.
Yes.
Lovely. As you are...
Would anyone mind if I add to that with momentum? Because I would like
let's go for it. We might as well use it.
to impress the captain right now. And I would also like to impress you.
Yeah.
Sure. One momentum is burned. You may roll another d20.
But I get to add more if I add.
I'm putting your momentum back.
I get to roll more dice if I increase threat.
You want to increase that?
Ooh.
There's already 8 threat on the board, and I haven't.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll use the momentum.
No problem.
Which means that I roll 1 more d20.
Yes, please.
But that's not a good face.
I know, it's not a good dice roll.
What did you roll?
The good D&D one.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
I get to add a complication. I was going to add one anyway to make the plot start, but you know.
Now the plot can be your fault.
Yay!
That's exactly what the scene deserves.
I'm not going to take it out of the threat box. I don't need to because you've given me one. Thank you. As you slow the ship to a stop and move the ship out of warp, there's a fluctuation in the ship's tachyon field, which is the field that holds the warp bubble, which the ship technically flies in together. Now, it's only a slight, the ship has a slight moment as it goes to a stop, but it doesn't look good for you.
Captain, the ship's tachyon field is interacting strangely with the feedback from the planet.
Tetrion radiation. That does make sense.
Would I feel that in engineering?
Yeah, everyone's feeling it.
Oh no. Oh no. Just straight away, just like, that is not good.
It's just a little cutaway to that. It's not good. I'm happy with that. Okay. We'll need to exercise some caution when we go back into warp when we try and leave here. Okay. Thank you, Ensign. I'll make a note of the chief engineer and contacts chief engineer with the intercom and starts arguing with the chief engineer, who is not happy about this idea of this upstart lieutenants and reroute power and things like that. You would hear both sides of this conversation on the ship, on the bridge, and you would hear it in engineering. You would also both hear, because the conversation is vocal. You will hear it. Chief Engineer, I understand there's some issues with the warp drive. There are no issues with the warp drive. Well, I have been informed by one of your lieutenants, Lieutenant Zukok, was it?
That's my name.
That's from the Chief Engineer. Would it be advisable to maybe reroute? There was some power rerouting that you managed to achieve using just some basic rewiring of the ship, frankly. So the power couplings, I believe, that would be better to go around the warp core. Yes, Captain, that sounds like a fantastic idea. I will get him on it immediately. Oh, you just got back. It's time for you to go out again.
That's fair.
I mean, the amount of across the telepathic side of this is high. Mm-hmm. The captain sits back. Well, that problem's being sorted. Good. Right, well, I suppose we should have a look for these, whoever's around here and where this Tetrion radiation is coming from. Casey, you're on security. Can you give me a general scan of the area, see if there's anything dangerous, please?
Sure.
You are rolling effectively with the ship, but we're not using ships today, so can you roll me with con, because that's what this is, arguably, and one of your own stats, please.
Okay. I'm definitely using control.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way I can help with that?
Yeah, I think so, if you'd like to.
That's 2 successes anyway.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, but you can help too if you want to.
With 2 successes, you won't succeed on this task.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, we have. Do we have one momentum to burn?
There's one momentum left.
And if you help, does that add a die?
If I succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vasena gets to roll a die separately.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So I will
roll again and roll again as well.
I think I'm looking. Oh no.
This is
Just in case I roll another natural 20.
I was going to use this threat I have here.
I know, yeah, momentum is killing us.
I think
you can still help, and you probably should.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the way in which the ship's engine is interacting with the. So I'm already doing some scanning and sort of just Lieutenant. Oh shit! What am I rolling? Is that a control and security?
No, it wouldn't be con.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a success.
Success, great. Between the two of you, you realise, and you can have this conversation as you're realising it's together because you're working on it together. Scanning the planet, scanning the neighbourhood, has increased the Tetrion radiation by exponential factor.
Just scanning.
Just scanning.
Shut down the scan. Shut down the scan.
Yes.
Why are you playing Bobbit?
Let me act. I've seen Tom Black do it and he looks really good.
He's never flying a starship. As you, it's not true, sometimes fly starships.
Sometimes it's literally.
As you turn the scan off as quickly as you can, still there's a faint and the ship's power starts to fluctuate strangely. You have left engineering and are walking down a corridor as the sort of the lights flash on and on in the general sign of the ship's having some trouble. In sickbay, you get the same thing.
Is there anything in sickbay in terms of portable energy sources, like in the sense of of battery power, of independent power sources? Because I think my emergency and frontier medicine etc. instincts are kicking in, and it's I either need things that don't require power, or I want power sources just because I'm being overly cautious because this is my first ever job.
You could make these in the replicators if you wanted to, or you could roll to try and find some that are already around.
Presumably using the replicator is going to use up more energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and find things.
Cool. Roll me a medicine, because you are looking for things that you could wire to be able to be usable as portable power sources.
Yep.
And one of your attributes that you can argue for.
I guess it's, well, I want to say like reason or insight.
Reason would be more like practical looking around. Insight would be, insight's normally people, so I think reason makes more sense to me.
Sure.
And you roll 2, as always.
Yay! I rolled a 10 and a 9.
Sweet.
2 successes is not enough to succeed on this task.
Oh, it would be adding threat, wouldn't it?
It would indeed be adding threat.
Wow.
You know what? Let's go for it.
Sweat.
Add some of that threat in.
Grand.
If you roll a natural 20,
It's fine.
So
it'll be a short old adventure.
No, I need to roll me fine. Oh, that's. Oh no, wait, is it close? No, it's just in the corner. Sorry. 4.
Cool. So 3 successes. And the dogs are around going, oh, what now? You're just going, okay, and start collecting things that might be useful if the ship's power does. And you manage to find a quite chunky, like you have to wear it on like a little like a fanny pack.
Yeah.
Is a sort of portable power cell that you could use to charge quite a lot of things for quite a long time.
Sweet.
Kind of thing that someone would replicate for like long-term medical equipment, but it's currently not being used in that way. So you've now just gone, chink, and you now have that. That is yours.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome. Can I go over to the ship's computer and ask the ship something?
Yeah, sure.
Computer, warp core containment field status.
Warp core containment field at 68%.
Send updates to my communicator every 60 seconds.
After 6 seconds of you going, no. Warp core containment field at 66%. It's gone down.
Lieutenant Zukok to the bridge.
Captain Alvarez here.
Captain, we are losing the containment field on the warp core.
Oh.
Recommend.
I sound red alert.
Cool, great. Red alert. Over.
Recommend diversion of shields to the warp core containment field. Also recommend separation of the saucer section if it dips below 10%.
Well, this is all escalated quite quickly. Right, can everyone please assist Lieutenant Zukok in that plan? I'll message the Chief Engineer. Starts messaging Chief Engineer. You've been told what to do. Who would like to try and redirect the shields to the warp containment field? There's 2 of you.
Can I assist Vasina in this?
I'm going to take 2 threat out of the pool. This task has suddenly got a heck of a lot harder.
Oh, wow. Oh, great. Fantastic. Oh, great. Okay, wait, sorry.
As around you, the power drain is still going back and forth a little with red alert, and you can see on your readouts and computer screens in front of you the Tetron radiation outside has not stopped increasing since you turned everything off.
I think I'm just alarmedly going, Captain!
Yes, Ensign, I understand it's a problem, but do what you can as fast as you can, please.
Okay, I am trying to... You are assisting me in redirecting power to the warp shields. I am rolling.
Yes.
Control or daring?
I think control is about fine.
Control
It's about fine detail.
and con again, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
I'm trying to beat a 15. That's a 16 and a 4. So we got the 4.
Got 1 success.
Is this
In movement?
No. Am I technically trying to survive?
No.
I think I am.
No, that's not a focus you can use.
Shipboard tactical.
It's not tactical, is it?
If I'm assisting, I roll as well, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You only roll one.
I know one. Okay.
Roll
So
them
that's,
both again.
that's a shame because one was a success and one was not. Oh, there you go. That's the best it could be.
Best it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Rad. Okay.
Excellent.
So that's two
a terrible word
successes.
to use. It's
I
three
have-
successes.
3 successes. I have 1. I would like to I would like to use threat to roll another d20.
You technically re-roll one of your dice.
Yes. Which
You add one threat.
which means that I do something else. But I can't remember what.
You get to re-roll one of your dice.
Yes, which means that
You only re-roll
but
one.
I also have a talent to do with that. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
If I get to re-roll another d20 by adding to threat, and then because I have untapped potential,
Yes, you do. It's been a plot point so
which
far.
is something that I'm really hyper aware of, I also get to roll a d6.
What does that do?
I either get more momentum
or threat.
or yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry, everyone.
Rules. They're fun.
Oh no, it's a of my 15. I rolled a 14 and a 12, so
cool.
another 2 successes.
That's fine.
And
What is it?
1.
1. So you gain 1 momentum.
Yes,
You also gain another 1 momentum because it was a 4 difficulty task.
nice. We did it.
Yeah, you absolutely did. You very quickly reroute the shields to contain the warp core, and the numbers that you're getting are now tick up suddenly to about 90%. But every 6 seconds are still going down ever so slowly. The ship is now unshielded, and a radiation alarm starts going off immediately. And there was a suggestion to separate the saucer section from, because the ship can separate into 2. Is that something that you would want to do? As a person involved in this scene at the moment, the warp core is in one bit of the ship, and most of the crew would go into the other bit, so the warp core could safely be blown up, basically. Yeeted. Yeah, exactly.
That seems like a good idea to me.
Cool, yeah,
Keeping Captain, if the danger is coming from the warp core, should we not do as much as we can to keep people separate from that?
If we separate the warp core, then we'll have to reattach later, and that's not easy. Do we not just want to try and get out of here? Is that not better?
Just the
Full reverse.
but with just the pulse of energy that came from scanning, the damage that did to the warp core was exponential. Surely the risk.
It sounds like we've got a power drain because of the scanning. Okay, so this radiation is draining our power, presumably by we're going to need to find some way to we can either try and get out of here, or try and separate. I'm happy to hear suggestions, or I can make an executive decision. I don't mind either way. You do know that they're very calm under pressure.
That's ominous.
It's got a talent.
There is something that might relate to this that Krista is trying to formulate with one of her superiors.
Cool. The doctor's there going, it's grumpily trying to make sure everyone's okay with a little power, just grumping around medical bay. Lots of power, sort of, and the red alert.
How much do I know that we are now near a planet? Am I aware of
You're
any
aware
risk
of the
crashing?
mission.
Okay.
Crashing is like a weird thing to happen. It so rarely happens.
Okay.
And I'm involved.
In that case, there's probably
More
just
than
like something.
Titanic.
It's probably something in the back of Krista's head. She's not going to bring it up yet because it's more how to try and keep people safe if that starts happening. So
Cool. That is not happening yet.
cool.
You're running around the ship madly, rewiring everything.
Yeah, just rewiring and asking the computer questions.
Cool.
Questions like, computer, current radiation level.
Radiation levels at 22% and rising.
Wow.
Computer, can we reroute power to the transporters?
Affirmative.
Computer, I've got the beginning of an idea.
Can you roll me an engineering check to be rewiring to generate more power?
Would this fall into warp field mechanics or starship engines?
Neither, frankly.
Nice try, then.
Nice try. I tried it.
You
I've
are
tried it.
working with the ship's computer, so I will say that, because you've got computers in there, haven't you?
Yeah.
This isn't a computing task. This
It's
is
not a
wiring
computing task, it's a
yeah.
wiring task. Let's just do reason and engineering, I suppose.
Right, so
Reason and engineering. 2 10s. It's
Nice.
2 successes.
that's not enough to complete this task.
Ah.
We've got 2 momentum.
Oh, yes, I will spend a momentum.
Would you like to be cautious about this?
I would love to be cautious about this.
Because if you spend momentum on an engineering task and take a bit longer, you can do it really well.
Yeah.
Which means you get to roll an extra d20.
Ah, excellent. 2 more. 2 more. 14 and a 1.
5 successes. I'll give the momentum straight back because you only needed 4.
Yeah.
You are just you're doing it very quickly, but also very carefully and precisely. Going around the entire ship rewiring would take a heck of a long time, but you're focusing on specific power junctures where more power runs through them to try and generate more power to be able to be helpful in this situation. However, I am going to burn 3 threat. It's alright, I'll explain how in storytelling.
As far as I remember from character building, am I especially vulnerable to radiation?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh no.
The
What
ship
does that mean for me right now?
The ship's computer does, at this point, ship radiation at 30% and rising. You're starting to feel a little ill. It's like, oh, this is really affecting you. You're like, you're a trill. It's not like you're particularly vulnerable. Radiation still ain't good.
Yeah.
So you're also, and there's then you get an alert in medical bay immediately. As Captain, medical bay, we need anti-radiation treatments everywhere. Start at the bridge. And everyone is just being go, 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 and running out with basically radiation treatment kits to go and help everyone as quickly as possible.
I will do the same.
You're assigned to the bridge.
Okay, cool. I peg it.
Because plot, of course.
Yeah. I peg it to the bridge.
Cool.
Captain, I would recommend separating the saucer from the warp core.
You don't think we should try and go?
I think that people will die.
All right, Ensign. On my head be it. Separate the sort of section from the what's it called?
The battle bridge.
Is it? Well, it's the warp core. Like it's separate the sort of section immediately.
Yeah.
Those that remain on board the battle bridge need to fly the warp core as far away as possible, as quickly as possible. Commander and the unnamed commander of the ship gets up and walks out. That's all they ever did. Done. They are removed from the adventure. Strike their name off. No one ever got to know them. Oh well. The commander leaves.
He likes landscape paintings. And the harmonica.
Euphonium.
Euphonium.
The commander and several of the bridge crew leave to command the battle bridge, and you lot are all left behind.
As in just...
No, not just.
Okay.
There are other people there as well. Yeah.
Although I'm on the saucer section entirely by accident. I'm just randomly rewriting things, and then I hear the couplings undo, and I'm like, like, why would you separate me from where the core is?
Saucer section separating, and within about 5 minutes, the saucer section and the aft section of the ship have separated, and the aft section, the commander comes on the con and goes, I'm going to try and get us out of here. I'm going to try and warp out of here and see if we can circle back and help you later.
Yeah. Can we re-establish shields on the source section?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. We need that to happen because otherwise radiation. Right?
Tell the captain.
Well, I say that I'm going to do that. I say, Captain, I'm going to re-establish shields on the source section.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Monitoring energy signatures from the planet. I would like to keep an eye on what is happening between the interaction while this is happening.
Cool. I mean, I burned 3 threats. So before you do that, actually, I'll let you roll for it to see if you raise shields in time.
Okay.
Can I ask the ship's computer to run a hypothetical about what a warp field, what a generated warp field will do in this level of radiation?
Calculating.
Come on. A warp field mechanics.
You have to roll for this. The computer has to do it.
Come on.
You can kind of
I have 2 successes so far.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's not going to be enough yet.
You're going to have to raise shields in time.
Yeah. So I'm going to burn both momentum.
Also, if I'm monitoring the situation,
yeah.
am I assisting?
I would allow an assist on this. Yeah, you can be working together. This is good. Working together, good. So it's only burning 1 momentum. That's fine.
That's another success.
Grand. That's 3. It's also not enough.
I rolled on what I needed to roll.
Cool.
So
You
another
quickly
success.
re-establish shields, and as you do, and as the computer says to you, creating a warp field in this kind of Tetron radiation is extremely hazardous. The back end turns
No.
and tries to establish a warp field. And as it does, it elongates. It starts the warp field, but the bubble collapses and it just tears itself apart. There is a gigantic explosion. Take some more threat. The shields were raised in time, but the ship is bombarded by small pieces of the ship, and the saucer section is now careening dead perilously towards this planet.
Okay, so I was doing the radiation treatments.
You get onto the bridge. That's like the bridge is suddenly.
as
Everyone
the
does
moment
the.
this- the moment this happens, that I'm on the bridge. The moment that
Yeah.
kind of happens. Oh, okay. I have the radiation things in hand, but if it looks like we're now crashing,
Two panels blow up in people's faces, not main characters, obviously, and the extras do a lot of great work falling backwards over their chairs like they're definitely hurt, but you don't know how.
I have a thought. I'm going to say it as Chloe
Yes.
because Krista would have a better understanding of this, and I don't want to like monologue something and then everyone to be like, "Wow, that character's so dumb." Is there any way that how the ship generates gravity can be used creatively to minimize impact damage on the people who are on this if it hits a planet?
I mean, it's never been done before, but that doesn't mean that you can't.
So
Can you roll me a medicine, and because it's medicine, because you're using your medical knowledge to try and work this out.
Yes, and I'll happily like
think it's
bring it to
probably
the attention of an
Probably
engineer.
command. It's a medical officer going, I have a theory. So it's going to come in there.
So command and
Medicine. Oh no, command is that as well.
disciplines are
I think it's daring. This is a very daring thing to do.
daring and medicine.
Yeah, why not?
Some daring medicine. Oh no. Okay, that's one success.
Cool. This cockamamie plan will not thrive on one success.
Do any of your focuses have anything to do with that?
Emergency medicine, frontier medicine.
This is Mad Hatter shit. This
This
is
is emergency medicine.
this is Mad Hatter shit. This
Okay.
If Kristen had a focus in like gravity
Cockamamie bullshit.
gravity mechanics or something like that, then I'd allow like I've got a specialism in this.
But
you
it's
don't.
not so stupid as that like I was partially going, is this so dumb, like I'm not even going to share this as a character.
No, it's not. No.
But if it's not too dumb.
Star Trek's all full of people making crazy copy gestures and Captain going, that might just work.
What about, is there any way that I could be okay. See.
Yep.
Can I use determination in some way in here? Would that help me?
What does determination do?
Determination.
Oh, so you want to use determination as
Spend one determination. You can. It says gain 1d20, which is already rolled a 1.
counts as 2 successes. 2 successes on another dice, giving you a total of 3 at the moment, would also not be enough to kick off this cockamamie plan.
It requires an applicable value, and all my applicable values are actually like
I've got a
anti.
suggestion. There's one momentum there. If you buy a momentum and roll it, and if you succeed on it, I would then say use your value, use your determination. Let's make this happen.
Okay, I'm gonna buy that. It's like, and as like the mechanics of the dice rolls are happening, Krista is going, who's the most senior engineer here? And like and then sees you.
He's not on the bridge.
Yeah, he's
on
on
the
the
bridge.
bridge.
Oh, you're not on the bridge.
I'm running around the saucer section as panels are exploding.
I'm just running. Extras
Damn it.
flying left, right, centre.
I say, computer, locate nearest engineer.
Nearest high-ranking engineer.
I just say nearest engineer.
The nearest engineer is running around the saucer section, arbitrarily connecting. Would you like to be put in touch with him?
Yes, immediately.
Why is the Starship Alexa? Okay. I have 4 things on engineer. You get a message. You get a tweet on your and you're in direct contact with Lieutenant Zukok.
Yeah.
Zukok here.
Lieutenant Zukok, we need you on the bridge immediately. The saucer section is in danger. We've lost the rest of the ship. It looks like we're about to crash into the planet.
On my way, sir.
Shall I?
Computer, time till impact.
4 hours, 14 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's going to get shit on worse, don't worry. Like, the ship was going to go, oh no! That's not how gravity works.
No, but I'm like...
It's currently doing that, like,
reprogramming.
it's probably going to like, oh, it's getting into orbit, and then think, things are going to go worse, I've got more three.
Yeah.
It like
Okay, so I'll roll
swinging round.
my d20 again. 11! So that
You have
was
3
a success.
successes, so if you want to spend your determination, this cockamamie plan might work.
Sure. Is there anything I need to do in terms of spending determination, or am I just spending it and that's what I do?
You have to roleplay your value and play it to the best of your ability, and then I will allow you to spend your determination. It is an acting challenge.
Okay, so I think the only value that I could use here that would be relevant is the only thing you can rely on is you.
That is terrible in this scenario, and doesn't make any sense.
So few of them are, but what I'm thinking is basically what she does is uses her communicator, knows that Zukok is the nearest.
Just heard.
Yeah.
Just heard.
This is Ensign Nurse Krista Weaver to Lieutenant Zukok, and then starts trying to basically coordinate the response herself and goes like, here is my plan, I've had an idea, it's very like, I've had a thought, and is going, I'm going to push with the thing that I've thought of. Lieutenant Zukov, I believe that if we find any kind of way to manipulate the gravitational field of the ship, then we might be able to minimize damage to anyone on impact. I know we have over 4 hours, but I really think that we need to act immediately, okay? I do have experience in emergency medicine, frontier medicine. I believe that with my experience and what I know, this is genuinely the best plan to keep everyone on ship in the best shape possible.
The captain looks over and goes, Ensign. Nice. We'll get through this. I have faith in all of you. And you start running around, and you're running up to the deck, and that's all getting sorted. And the two of you are currently trying to handle the situation. The ship has been damaged and is floating, and will eventually impact the planet. And the captain turns to both of you and goes, "Right, suggestions."
This is. I mean, can I try to fly the ship out of the path of the orbit?
Does it have?
Yes,
does it have impulse power?
We still have impulse engines. Yes,
I think we have impulse. Yeah.
Probably the best solution here. Although everything we have done has seemed to have a quite strong reaction on this radiation. We're shielded for now, but
is there a way that we can interrupt the field between the tetrion radiation from the ship and from the planet? Is there some way that we can?
We don't even know where it's coming from. The sensor sweep didn't reveal that much before it started a power drain. Is the power still draining? Computer, is the power still draining? Power at 93%. Power at 91%. Right, still a problem.
I've used the. I'm assuming that the radiation treatment is some form of kind of injection or something.
It's called a hypospray.
A hypospray. I use it on myself first in the kind of like put your own mask on before you help anyone else. Yeah. And then, if possible, I'd like to, whilst not interrupting the conversation, starting with the person who is most.
Everyone, please perform that you're getting hypersprayed at some point during this conversation.
Yes.
Am I on the bridge at this point, or did I run in to immediately hear the plan and run out again?
No, I think you're part of. You're on the bridge now again, sort of fiddling with key jaws. Yeah. Doing what Chris has suggested. It's quite a difficult task, and we'll get to rolling that. Yeah. So, suggestions. Flying the ship away. Flying the ship away is an option. Trying to interrupt the radiation. We don't know where it's coming from.
Well, perhaps if we can't do either of those, then just ensuring that when the ship comes down, it comes down safely.
Well, we're already at the ensign's suggestion of negating some of the impact damage is a smart one. That's a good way of dealing with that problem. We can't land. Source sections aren't made to land. They need to just crash in. We could certainly use the impulse engines to try and slow our descent, but...
And perhaps make a controlled adjustments as...
I mean, it sounds like a pretty daring maneuver.
That's exactly. Looks into camera. You're right.
Can we quickly analyze the data that we did get before we stopped the scan, just to see if there's anything about the radiation that we can maybe reverse its flow, maybe reverse its the fact that it suddenly started getting more and more and more.
Perhaps something about the rate of the exponential increase. I bring up the data onto the big screen.
The big screen is where we can see the planet. Never mind.
Well, you're not going to be there for another 4 hours.
Chief Helmsman, please. And Chief Security Officer. Walks over, and you need to both roll, working together on this to analyse the data.
Okay.
At the same time, walks over to you. Lieutenant, should I say Chief Engineer at the moment. What do you think? Is the Ensign's plan a good one? Are you going to make it work?
What?
The Ensign's plan to use the ability for the ship to generate artificial gravity to slow the impact on people inside the ship as it descends.
It's risky, but hypothetically, it could work. We'll need something to cushion the blow on impact. Maybe a concentrated phaser burst just to cancel out the velocity.
Phasers don't have any mass. We could potentially use torpedoes to try and create a shockwave, or we could try and extend the shields to create a sort of cushioned effect.
Controlled use of the impulse engines we could not surely use those.
Potentially.
Oh no, we'd just be feeding the field more.
And the ship is very heavy in gravity.
If we knew exactly what point of the ship would connect with the ground first, we could take the shields off the thing that are going to land last and put that into the cushion.
Excellent planning, everyone. Right, can I have some rolls? So, Chazz, first of all, can you roll to implement Ensign Weaver's cockamamie plan? It's not that high. The thing was more of a, is this even achievable? The
Is this
answer
even
is
achievable?
yes. The question is,
Does this fall under computers, jury rigging?
I would say it falls under the ship's engines, because the engines will work with
Starship engines, yeah.
Now that your character's involved, you might say it's a zoo cockamamie plan.
That's not a good joke.
I'm so proud of myself.
Just hear it. That's not a good joke. How much am I rolling here? This is reason. Mm-hmm. This is engineering. Do I add anything with my focus?
Oh, your focus means that every dice roll is doubled. So you count 1 success as 2 successes, for example.
Oh, ideal. And should I be... No, we haven't got momentum, so I can't be cautious. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a 1, and that's another success.
Yeah.
So that's 6, I think, in total.
You can't get more than 5, so I'm putting 2 momentum back on the table for you.
Yeah.
You quickly deal with the gravitation issue to stop people getting hurt. In fact, it's so quick that it's just done, and you can start focusing on this idea of torpedo shockwaves, using the shields as a buffer. You start working through that plan much faster than you would have had before.
I'm gonna be working with the ship's computer to run like hypothetical simulations, basically.
Yeah,
we're just like, what if we impacted this way with the shields around everything and the torpedoes, or just the shields cushioned with the torpedoes? No torpedoes, just the cushion. Different ways of doing it.
Yeah, no problem.
And there's probably a lot of very exciting graphics where it's like green, and then like a red X. Like start again, change these variables.
Yeah, totally fine. You are engrossed in this. Can you also give me the roll for? I'm going to say the ship's ability outside of piloting it to use shields and weapons to negate impact.
Absolutely. Just 2 rolls again?
It's just 2. You always start with 2. You can always buy more if you want to, and potentially you can use some of your focuses in this if you wanted to.
Of course.
Maybe you could ask people who have focuses in this sort of thing.
That's true. I'm too proud. Engineering and...
Chazz, Star Trek's a program about working together.
Would this be engineering and reason, or is this more insight? It's probably insight.
Insight's about people.
Oh, I'd say. So probably reason.
Yeah.
Keep going. 2 successes.
It's not enough to work this out. It's very difficult.
Only double because you're using a thing though.
No, it's nothing to do with engines.
Oh, right.
But it has got something to do with computers.
You're working with a computer. It has nothing to do with computers.
Can I use my values to forcibly assist someone when they don't want to be assisted?
Because you take 2 steps towards me and I just go, no.
Especially if my value is, well, actually.
That's a roleplay choice. It has nothing to do with the game, so it's a roleplay choice. You're welcome to stand up and go, well, actually, or engage.
Remind me what you are trying to do exactly.
I am trying to work out the in the simulations, I'm trying to work out how much power we can actually afford to put into the shields and the photon torpedoes.
Because you also have to shield the ship from the torpedoes the ship is firing, so the shockwave wouldn't damage the ship, and the shield would still be up and therefore be usable to cushion the blow.
Yeah.
It's quite complex.
Can I come over as well?
Yeah.
And I see the variables that you're using, and I say, we should tweak this more. The ship can take it. We should push that up a little bit more. We can definitely go outside the standard operating.
Because using security.
I have
That's
pushed the limits, which reduces ship difficulty by 1.
Excellent.
That's right. I was thinking about my old ship.
Okay, that reduces difficulty on this by 1. Still very difficult.
Yes.
And you've already got 2 successes on it.
Also, I'm a parent figure, so if more than one person is trying to assist, I either get a...
Parent figure might be misnomer. You come from a large family.
Yes, well, the talent
it's
that I have
called
is
parent
parent
figure.
figures. I am used to trying to manage a whole bunch of people trying to do dumb shit.
Novians have large families. Large interconnected family systems.
So I can...
You can also assist, and there's no adding to difficulty. Yes.
Yes.
You need to roll as well to be part of this.
Okay.
Are you using con? Are you using security? You'll be using anything. It's not really.
Yeah, definitely com. Oh no! So if I can use security, I'll use security.
Do it.
Yeah.
You're talking about using torpedoes.
I don't know if this is possible, but it's quite a cool visual.
Yeah.
Like, with you running these hypotheticals, is there a way that this is something that I can, like, throw to the holodeck and be running through the, like, hypothetical situations
It
in
does
that
exactly
sort
the
of...
same thing. It doesn't spend time generating images.
I
of it.
just thought
No,
it
it's a
would
good
be a
thought. I agree.
cool touchstone with what's happening at the bit, but that's fine.
Also, I'm not sure the holodeck is in the saucer section.
That was the problem. Yeah, that was the problem that I was thinking, but I did think it would be cool.
I don't know, honestly. I'm saying the medical bay isn't.
I was the idiot who said separate the saucer section.
No, it doesn't matter. This is all clever solutions. It's not all the work. I've got lots of threats to use.
Listen, on TNG, you know shit's hit the fan when they separate the saucer section.
It's highly likely we've never seen a ship separate the section.
It's
This
super
is-
rare.
Yeah.
I've definitely not. This is my first ever ship.
Does this technically make it a small craft? It's much smaller
It's
than
very
it
big. It's a
used
big
to
disc
be.
now. It's a
But
big
it's
disc.
much smaller than
Still a
it
big old
was.
ship.
It's got big disc energy.
I had 2 successes. By the way.
Good.
You only roll 1.
Oh, right, only roll. I'll do that.
So
And that's cocked. Oh man, no, that's exactly what I need. So
Successes so far.
daring and con.
Sure.
Can I roll control and con?
Sure.
That's a 9.
Sweet.
4
That's
successes.
a
That's all you
success,
needed.
yeah.
Between the 3 of you, you work out that there is a way to slow the ship. It will still put a lot of stress on the hull, and you are pushing way above recommended guidelines of this sort of thing. But you know the ship can take it. It might cause some damage, but not as badly as it could possibly do. And effectively, you're using the torpedoes to effectively create a shockwave that slows the ship's rate of descent and gets it more flattened out, and then using the shields to cushion the landing. So effectively, you are going to crash source section, but it's going to be a lot worse than it could be. And
A lot
because
worse
of,
than it could be.
well, better than it could be. sorry. And because of your very clever use of the internal ability for people to keep gravity, the ability to increase the gravity. Or decrease the gravity, sorry, people are less likely to get hurt.
Cool. There's
No,
one.
increase the gravity. They stay stuck in their chairs more. Increase the gravity.
Probably increase it so that there's less things getting thrown, etc.
Sure.
Kind of secondary injuries
There we go.
from
So
stuff.
we increase the gravity.
There's one thing that I'd like to be doing, if possible, whilst this planet's kind
Well,
of
no
being...
one did the acting of getting radiation treatment, so I think they're all talented.
Because I'm a really good nurse.
This is the thing where
Barely noticed.
they just like stab you very quickly. Is that one, or is it the?
I whisper a thing doesn't even stab you. It's kind of like it goes. I don't know how it goes.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
Say spray, so it's a...
Yeah. I have been just like doing that, going around people, just quickly doing it.
Wow, good reaction.
It just-
everyone.
It just might work.
I will have vetted everybody on the ship, and I would have read their files really thoroughly. Do I know of an expert in the kind of radiation that we're dealing with on the planet?
No.
Boo.
It's like at that point, I want to be kind of, once I've done everyone's initial radiation treatment, if I can pull up any kind of stats scans on a screen, specifically looking at, okay, so if we were to crash, that would already be a bad thing.
Yes.
If you crash on a planet that has like radiation,
Massive,
what is the radiation level like? What am I expecting in terms of radiation poisoning? And formulating a secondary plan of how do we protect best against that?
Roll me a medicine and reason check, please.
Medicine and reason. Okay. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's not so bad. That's 2 fails. I needed a 12 and I rolled a 16 and a 19. Could I use some momentum, please? Because I at least don't want to make it way worse.
1.
Is it alright if I use 2, everyone? So I don't
All right.
need to try
Roll
and
2
avoid fails.
fails.
Yeah.
That's a 10.
Success.
That's a 12.
Success, which is what you needed. It is a Class L planet, and Class L planets have gentle background radiation at all times. It's Tetrion radiation, which is no better or worse than other radiation. It's all radiation. It's all bad. You know that you have to give people regular injections. Everyone has to have regular injections. You need to have enough material. You can start using the ship's replicators to make what you need and what people will need for a couple of days. But there's also the question of who knows you're going to crash and how you're going to get off. There's a lot of questions here still need to be answered. And in the meantime, while you're all doing this, and you are also looking at the scan data as you said you were going to, your captain is just going through a list on their screen, and if any of you see it, it is a casualty report of the people that died in the aft section as it blew up. Makes up
Canonically, only 2 of them.
Oh no, it wasn't just 2 people. That whole section contained
2%.
Okay.
1.8% of the crew died in that. Well, not a lot.
It's amazing that we managed to get all of them out the big bit of the ship.
Well, most people stay in the saucer section. The aft section is really more for personnel, and also there would have been like a general everyone leave the bloody aft section.
How much of that 1.8% is from engineering?
Oh, most of it.
Yeah.
Well, you're the highest ranking engineer left.
Yeah.
Chloe's the highest ranking medical officer left. I mean.
We're going to need every scrap of power that we have to make this work.
Replicating stuff.
We need every scrap of power that we have to make this work. We just need to find a way to... Turbo lifts.
Oh, excellent. You run out shouting the word turbo and everyone goes,
Did he say what he meant by that before he...
oh. Turbo lifts. The captain nods sagely.
Of course.
This turbo lift is out of... Shut up! I don't...
You're off doing that for a bit. You two are going to scan the data to try and work out where the radiation is coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean...
Shall I assist you? Are you...
This would be... If we're trying to work out through data, is that reason?
Yeah, I'd say so. Reason's going through a lot of data.
Reason and science?
Yeah, reason and science.
Science. Would come to a grand total of 10 for me.
Yeah, I have 11.
Maybe I can assist you.
Maybe you assist me. Okay.
Good, glad we used all that momentum before this roll.
That is 1 success.
That is nowhere near
I
enough.
know, exactly.
That's another success.
That's nowhere near enough.
But now it's 2 successes.
Stack of threat, isn't that?
Yeah, you know, why fret about the threat, man?
I fret about that.
Threat.
I think we're going to add some threat.
I think that's probably what that's going to have to be. Okay, so we've got 2 successes.
We have, but buying. So is this?
No, it's not a security check.
Is it not? Are you sure? I mean, it feels like the security of all of us is threatened.
I am observing data.
You are observing data.
I am observing data. Does that mean...
Wait, is data here?
No,
Who's that gold man?
no, he died in the absence.
Oh no!
Killed off a legacy character.
Oh no, are we in Nemesis?
So it's 3 successes.
It is
If I
currently
get to...
2.
It's 3 if I'm using my observation focus, which you just said I could.
Yeah, so it's currently 3. You need 1 more.
Yes. Okay.
I could be constantly watching to reduce the difficulty in seeing hidden things within this data.
None of that works.
I love that the roleplay of that is just.
Look at this data. Look at it.
None of my values help with this at all.
One more.
I mean, it looks like it's.
I'm gonna. We'll add a threat and I'll re-roll.
Yes, add threat to the pool. Do it.
Oh my Jesus!
Oh no!
What did you do?
I used the wrong skill and punched the monitor.
As you start trying to scan, you don't even scan. You're going through the scan data, trying to work out where this radiation is coming from.
We accidentally flick the active scan thing.
Oh God!
Basically, go, whoops! That's not a very Star Trek reaction. No, I'm not doing that. As you are looking through the data, you can't make head or tail of the radiation is coming from the surface of the planet and not one location, like the whole planet just form. Like it's very hard to tell what it's coming from or what it is or how it even begins to function. As you keep looking through this, though, there is a faint spark, and one of the computers blows up. Another extra goes flying across the screen.
Ensign Wilhelm, no!
I'm so glad you said that.
I go and I tend to their wounds.
Dude, they are probably medicine and reason.
They won't stop screaming.
It sounds like a man being eaten by a crocodile.
That is one success.
One success. You patch Ensign Wilhelm up, but Ensign Wilhelm is not going to be active for the rest of the
That's fine, but Ensign Wilhelm is going to be alive.
Yeah, Ensign Wilhelm's going to be alive.
Good.
Yeah, Ensign Wilhelm is alive, but very badly burned by the screen blowing up. The shields are failing.
The shields are failing.
You won't even get your shield buffer. The shields are failing because the radiation outside is putting a lot of pressure on the shield harmonics grid and other technobabble to hold the shields in place, and shield energy is now down to 52.
If we... Chief Engineer, if we crash...
I'm not there.
Yeah, is currently dealing with turbo.
I badge him. Yeah.
What?
The situation is destabilizing. If we crash on the planet, what are we going to need to get out a signal to the closest inhabited world?
Through subspace?
Space relay.
We'll need a subspace relay. It depends how many light years away you want to go. To the nearest starbase, it's...
A few.
Hey.
Make up our number.
It's 8 light years to the nearest starbase. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
But just far enough away for tension.
It's really not in Star Trek. Oh, it's next door. Hello.
Okay.
If we can somehow rewire the sensors to absorb the radiation.
But I'm unshielding the ship, though.
We would have to unshield the ship. And I'll have to go into the sensors manually.
Are you talking about using the radiation as a power source?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting.
No, that's a metaphor that describes exactly what he just said. It's like catching lightning in a bottle.
If it's the same kind of radiation, then if we've separated from the warp core, we can refocus it and do it. I started and I was like, I don't have enough bullshit for this.
I looked to the captain for his...
There. I mean, it's a crazy plan, but what choice do we have at this point?
Captain, you're not being very helpful in this situation.
Ensign, you were going to replicate radiation kits for everyone. I think we're going to need more of those. You just do my replicator.
Well, it's like
pressing the button, pressing copy over and over again.
She was having a thought of like realizing that what was happening was like the clever version. She was like, okay, well, I've been in her voice. If I've been, spraying people to protect them from the radiation, what we need is a radiation cure for the whole ship. And they're just like imagining like a big spray, and then being like, no, that wouldn't work.
I'm so glad I'm not anywhere near the bridge for this.
This is all thankfully in her head too far away from
It also wouldn't work.
Oh no, I know that a big spray would back. And then she kind of hears hears this coming over the communicators and is like, yes, that's like the equivalent.
Okay.
And yeah, now it's just
Okay.
knowing this is essential, but still, it's just buttons.
So it's the scanners that increase the radiation level. So the scanners need to become the receptacles. Yes, good.
You have roll me for rewiring the ship so that you get more power.
This is jury rigging.
This is jury rigging.
This is reason and engineering. It's a 1 and a 20.
It's the 2 rolls you can get.
Cool. You have jury rigged the turbo lifts, but as you finish working on, there is a complication. There is another fluctuation in power, and this time the engine just powers down completely.
Oh, no.
Do we still have the computers?
Computers are fine, just the engine, the impulse engines are off, and the ship is now listing more lazily to the left towards the planet, and computer turns time of impact 1 hour 50 minutes.
Zukok!
Please give me something. Because I've always wanted to say this in a Star Trek scenario. You just need to give me the feed line. You just need to give me the feed line.
You come running back onto the bridge.
Zukok, what is happening?
I'm giving her all she's got.
Are you now running to the sensor grid to try and rewire the sensor grid to become a power absorber, not a power...
Yes, and yes, you just let me know when I have to roll, because I feel...
now.
Excellent, I'm going to burn my determination on this one, I think.
And what value are you using?
Every mechanical problem has a mechanical solution.
Yes.
You're just all cables, just in the middle of it, just cables flying around you.
Cables. All right, with jury rigging as well. All right.
Yep.
Okay, I spent my determination on it.
Yep.
Which means something.
You roll. It's a 1.
You gain
It's
a
one, isn't it?
1d20, which counts as having already rolled.
You've already got 2 successes. You need
successes.
more than that for this crazy plan.
But if you're jury rigging, then it's,
Okay,
it's
four successes.
It's 4 successes on top of that already.
6, you've already succeeded.
Yeah.
You get 1 momentum back.
Yeah.
And this, you suddenly, and the engines power up again. However, the planet's gravitational pull is stronger than the impulse engines.
Yes.
You are being dragged towards
But
it.
it's
You
in
can
a-
still enact the plan of slowing the ship down before
Yeah.
it impacts.
It's enough to throw it into full reverse to minimize the impact.
The ship is now absorbing power again, so the shields are maintained. So the shields can hold, so you can enact your entire plan. You have power coming in through the sensor grid because it's now absorbing power from the spectrum particles around you.
Here's the complication now that I'm just standing in the middle of all the things that are absorbing radiation.
No, that would be cruel. I'm not doing
at
that.
the dark real.
The captain runs up. Zukok, we've never really spoken, but I'm real sad that you're dying.
Whose fault is this? Titanic!
You get back to the bridge. Everyone's been treated with radiation. It's not like you're going to suddenly get radiation poisoning immediately. Everyone's been treated constantly. And you're just making shit tons of
Yeah, I'm
radiation.
still there.
I think
So after that's done and I think it's working, I make sure everything's in place.
Yeah.
That's when I come back to the bridge.
The ship is still slow. It's now entering the planet's atmosphere. It's going quite fast, but you have not got much time. What do you want to do? You're going to enact. You've made a plan with the computer of how you're going to do it. You still have to roll to actually.
I
do
would
it.
like to act upon that. I would like to
You're waiting.
begin slowing the ship down by using the impulse engines in the opposite direction to which we're going to slow the propulsion of the ship.
The ship is now entering the atmosphere, and you can on outside the viewport in front of you, you can see the slight reddish tinge as you enter the atmosphere and start burning through the whatever the atmosphere is made of, and it's like blue because it's nitrogen. And as you are going through it, and you can see the planet's surface beneath you, it is lush. Like we're talking rainforest
Now it's
everywhere. And as the ship passes through the upper atmosphere, you do start seeing some movement amongst the trees you can see before you.
Oh no, it's people coming to offer us free bath bombs.
Oh, I only just got that. Oh no.
Why does this planet smell so strong?
You are canonically very observant, and you're canonically very observant.
I think you're.
I'm also canonically very observant.
And what's that?
You can roll, all of you can roll if you like to see what's going on outside the window. If you fail on this roll, there is no negative impact.
Okay.
Then what's the point of making the roll then?
Because if you succeed, you get momentum, and I can tell you more story stuff.
So,
But
if
I'm
we're
studious,
observant,
so-
are we just? Is it? What are we?
What does observant do? You've got it in front of you.
It's double your success, but the roll that we're making is.
Oh, sorry. I have observation as a focus. I don't have observant as a talent.
Oh, I see.
So
in
I'm
which case you can roll a...
Oh, I have observation as a focus as well.
as a focus, so the focus is not
sorry.
talents. Okay, that's fine. Can you roll me, I think probably it's observing things, and it's probably...
Insight.
Security's probably fair. Security and
Security.
insight.
And insight.
What are you rolling?
Yeah, I fail.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 19 and a 17.
That's terrible.
I fail real bad.
Okay.
2 successes.
Oh, not that bad.
Not that bad.
2 17s.
Yeah.
It's all right. We're not doing. It's just to see something you don't see. You don't see it. Ensign Messina, looking out the window, you see quite large insectoid-style creatures flying away. Like a lot of quite large ones, just flying off as the ship comes flying down towards the surface at quite a rate.
Am I really sensitive to insect bites as well?
Yeah,
That's me.
Chris.
Yeah. I've got that as well.
Fucking hell.
no, you're not.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay, nice. Yeah.
No, but we're not talking like, oh, that's a big bug, like the size of a bull terrier, like the size of a house.
Yeah.
Captain.
And they are definitely flying away from what's going to be the impact zone.
Okay, well, that's a good thing.
Yes.
I think it's time we brace for impact.
Oh, not yet.
I'm going to do that with the ship's engines.
I tell somebody to get the subspace relay to us, to the bridge, so that we have it for
You get it.
Yeah.
You are holding a subspace relay. It is now in your equipment. Subspace relay.
I would like to, with one of the, with a replicator, can I just be like, this is the thing I need?
Yes.
Produce it. Okay,
You
I
need to have
would.
a pattern in the buffer, technically. You need to have a pattern. You need to have the ability to make it.
Do you have
Okay.
a pattern in the buffer? Do you have a pattern in the buffer? Do you?
Do you have a pattern in the buffer? Get that pattern in the buffer.
I like to.
Nobody likes a buffer with no pattern.
Why don't you just get a pattern in the buffer?
Okay, I guess I
Pattern, buffer.
I would like to use it to produce again some kind of spray or injective treatment, which essentially functions as a muscle relaxant. Because stay with me.
Because when people get sucked out of planes and their muscles relax, they survive.
No. You've got to relax your muscles to get the pattern in the buffer.
Hashtag pattern in the buffer.
I mean, I don't like. Chloe doesn't know medicine.
What?
Go with me on this. The idea is that Krista is going to distribute these to individuals. Also going to use my communicator to make sure other people have done so as well. In the sense that, you know, like the time when I looped myself off a trampoline at a party, but I was very drunk, so I wasn't tense, and I was less likely to become, you know, when people have magical surviving instants while they're drunk because they are relaxed, they're not actually tensing their muscles, and there is less chance of secondary injury, like in that sense. Basically, Krista is trying to go like, what are all the things
You're trying to get everyone drunk.
reduce? What are all the things that could reduce? And the reason that I'm distributing them to individuals is because it's, you know, like everyone hold off onto the moment before impact, because obviously we don't have muscle relaxant while we're trying to solve the problem.
If you're trying to replicate as many of these treatments as you need to, I think from my little boobity-doob, I'm gonna
You're gonna help me put the pattern in the buffer.
what I'm going to do is find the pattern and make sure that when you're buffing, the pattern that you need in your buffer is available for you as soon as you're ready to accept the pattern into your life.
The buffer's pattern level is 17%.
Hey, Chloe, roll me a medicine and
Buffer check.
daring, because you're telling everyone to take muscle relaxants before a crash.
I'm being very.
You're busy piloting the ship. You're
But I'm being very clear that when they get a warning of impact in 10, say, impact in 10 seconds,
oh no, it's just about to crash.
that's when to take it.
But I'm really good with replicators.
I'm also assuming, I mean, this is also assuming that it's something that will is temporary to a degree.
Yeah.
Rather than just like for the next hour after the crash.
Well, that was crazy, and I love you.
Let me tell you something. I love you. Best mate. Best mate.
Do you remember that night when we put the patent in?
That's 2 successes so far.
That's enough.
Yay!
You make a muscle relaxant that will last for roughly a minute, and you distribute it amongst the bridge crew.
Yeah, I'm individually telling each of you, when impact is at 10, take this, okay? I can't give it to everyone. And then I'm on my communicator to any medical staff who have the capabilities, use replicators, etc. And I just very quickly...
There is a hollow, empty sound as you say any other medical staff.
Anyone with access to a replicator and...
Cool. Fine.
Pass that on.
Yes, I will allow. Right. There is using the engines to slow the ship down. There is firing torpedoes to create a shockwave that will lessen the impact but also blow a fucking hole in this jungle. There is also using the shields to create a buffer underneath that should hopefully allow the ship to impact less heavily. Oh look, there's 3 tasks and there's 3 of you!
Are we not
That's
all...
called GMing.
I was ready to counter this. Okay.
Are we not all working together to achieve these tasks simultaneously?
No, they're individual tasks.
Okay.
Are
These-
you sure?
These hit a bunch of my focuses.
Well, exactly. So
Warfield mechanics, starship engines, computers, all
do
of
you
these
want to be in
things.
charge of the engines slowing down?
Yes, I'll be
You want to be in
charging.
charge of the engines
I'm
slowing
good
down,
at maneuvers.
which is what this would be, yes. Why not all debate amongst yourselves what the best way to do this would be?
Okay.
It'll make for riveting television.
Shields?
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you're redirecting the...
I'll be maintaining the shield levels. You get ready to fire the photons at the exact.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
the security
that's-
officer.
yeah.
Like that's your...
You ready to fire?
Fuck.
Because I'm maintaining the shields, which I feel is important, which would mind terribly if I spent our 1 remaining momentum to do it cautiously.
Who's this guy?
Chazz.
I'm especially good when I'm not adding momentum, so go fucking
All right,
go
here we go.
for it.
Right, so you're using momentum on your task. Don't roll it. You're piloting the ship and you're setting the torpedoes off.
Yeah.
I see we have 4 momentum left. I'm going to use 3 momentum to make all of your tasks a little bit harder because that's how this shit goes down.
And that's called DMing. Shit! Gonna be really good in the factor.
So you all need to roll. You're rolling individually. You can buy more threat if you want to. That's always fine. There is 1 momentum that you have earmarked because it allows you to do lots more re-rolls.
Yes.
Let's have the ship being put into full reverse and see if you can slow the ship's descent.
I am doing maneuvers.
You are doing maneuvers.
It's 4 successes.
Excellent.
Do I need more?
That is exactly what you need.
I just fucking smash it.
What you do, I'm going to say it's quite cool. As the massive saucer, this big wide saucer comes down, you fire thrusters to make it do a little wobble, and that wobble means that gravitationally pulling back, you have more surface area for it to slow down, and you do
As it comes.
and you correct the wobble as you're slowing it down.
I'm also going to say that in the intro to this episode of Star Trek, it showed Vicina on the holodeck, and it's shot in exactly, there's like that moment where it's the Vicina realizing, wait, this is how I crashed the ship last time, and correct, and like it's a zoom in on the same hand sort of
If it's
thing doing
classic
the...
Star Trek, then they have forgotten to show that in the prologue because they're not very good at editing. So they've
No, but I'm directing this
Let's
stuff.
just shoehorn it in there. People go, what the fuck is that scene? Oh, I suppose it's related.
Flashback!
Flashback to something we don't understand. Excellent. Well done, Star Trek. Well done. So yes, there's a moment of this is how it happened last time. And there is an excellent sort of like maneuver as the ship, creating more surface area, slows down with friction and just with going through the air and with the engines. So you have slowed the ship as much as you're going to slow it.
It's air resistance.
Air resistance, which is friction and air, surely.
Yes, but air resistance is more specific.
Okay.
All right, let's roll these goddamn.
So you're doing the shields, which I think need to happen after the photon torpedoes get fired.
Okay, so we'll do the photon torpedoes. I am going to use push the limits to fire the torpedoes
gonna
faster
empty the
than they
battery.
would normally be fired. So that the explosion
You're
is...
going to go...
He's fanning the hammer! He's fanning the hammer of the photons!
Yeah. But by doing that, I will reduce the difficulty by 1.
Okay, so only 3 successes you need.
Okay. That's going to be really close. No, it isn't. No, that's one. Annoyingly, that's 1 success.
You need 2 more to make
What about
this
your
work.
focuses? Is there anything in your focuses that...
Always use momentum or by threat.
Yeah, I can. And this is a security thing because I'm firing the torpedoes. Yeah. Okay. So I will buy threat, which does something good for me,
You get to re-roll one of those dice as well as you bought a dice for
and
threat.
I get another one. Okay.
So you've already got 1 success. You need 3 to make this work.
If you're firing torpedoes, is that technically using hand phasers?
No, they're torpedoes.
Yeah, that's 2 more successes.
There's this, and there's.
Are you sure?
Yeah. None of those dice are above 8, so that is 3 successes.
3 successes. And as the ship wobbles down and slows, torpedoes suddenly, and they fire real fast, both firing out at quick succession, and the resulting explosion shockwave as you're wobbling down sends the ship wobbling up, and the shields and the whole ship tenses, and this horrible grinding sound as it.
No pressure.
Stay with me. Stay with me.
You need to start doing things.
Stay with me.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to use that. I'm going to spend that momentum to do this cautiously, which means something. I keep forgetting because I didn't write it down.
Cautious means that you get to. You get to roll an extra dice because you buy momentum, and you get to re-roll one of your dice as well.
Excellent. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
And it's part of my focuses. I've already got 4 successes
Sweet.
because I'm using reason and engineering, and it's 18.
So you didn't need to use momentum.
Yeah, because I spec'd in one area.
So you don't need to use momentum. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fine, no problem.
Sometimes everyone does a good job.
Can reason and engineering? Can that?
Yeah, my reason's 12 and my engineering's 5.
Then that's 17.
Oh, well, I still rolled a 15 and a 13.
Okay, yeah, sorry, my brain was going, I think it's mathematically impossible
Yeah, sorry.
to be that high
That was
with
on
the
me.
maxes on attributes.
That was on me. So I'm just there being like, come on, hold together, baby. Your heart will go on. Come on.
Oh.
As the torpedoes go flying up, the shockwave hits the ship, and the shields just impact them, and the shields suddenly intensify at the front and lessen at the back of the ship as you.
Yeah, it's literally 3. Impact in 3, 2.
And the captain shouts, "Brace for impact!" as the ship.
No, don't relax!
No, don't.
And as the ship hits the surface of the planet, and there are explosions, and the ship just starts crashing through undergrowth. That's where we're going to take our break.
Oh.
See you in 5 minutes, folks. Bye. back. Welcome back to Star Trek Impact. And, well, the impact has just happened. So,
we are now we live in a post-impact society.
Right. The ship impacted the surface of the planet with a mighty bang. On the bridge of the ship, you're all just like you've all taken muscle relaxant, so you're sort of floating around.
I did not take the muscle lesson.
Shit, son.
That was medical advice.
I'm the head of security. I've got to stay focused.
You're gonna stay injured, is what you're gonna say.
Well, I was going to say, can everyone please roll to not, have horrible things happen to them? But I think the difficulty for you just increased.
I love to roll to not have.
What am I rolling? Control and
You are rolling fitness.
Oh,
fitness.
And I think you are probably rolling, I will allow this to be either or, depending on who you are, security or medicine.
Right.
That's going to be security.
That's not going to be great for me either way.
No, that was kind of the point.
Because I spec'd for one specific thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you describe this? Now, I think I would describe this as survival very strongly.
Now, when you wrote survival as one of your focuses, did you mean the ability to survive a starship impacting a planet, or did you mean stuff like making fires?
My character, who's done that before.
Fair. I will say you have experience in hitting planets real hard with a ship.
Yeah.
I will allow you to use focus.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. For you,
But
this
watch
is
yourself,
just
counsellor.
for you. This is just Tuesday.
It's just this bullshit again.
Somehow, with a pass-fail grade of with 11 as my cutoff, I rolled a 7 and a 6.
Smash
2 successes.
it.
Excellent. You are not injured by the crash.
2 successes.
You are not injured by the crash.
2 successes.
You are not injured by the crash.
1 success.
Oh, it looks like someone should have taken their muscle relaxant.
Still would have failed.
Look, Matt, just for future reference, muscle relaxant is a great way to not get hurt. I'm just going to put it out.
Okay. Next time I crash a saucer section into a planet, I will remember.
Just a general rule, muscle relaxant is a good way to not get hurt. So you currently have 1 success. You can always spend momentum or add to threat.
I feel like I'm gonna add to threat because then I get more chance. So I'm gonna do that because I can
we'd
reroll
love to
that
add to
then,
threat
and
in
I
this
add.
game.
We've really you two have been adding to threat like it's going out of
I've
fashion.
only done it.
And that's lots. That's successes.
it.
So you're going to have 4 successes, which is 1 more than you need. The ship is battered and bashed around, and you are all thrown and you do the Star Trek wobble.
That was good for the mics.
And as you bounce, as the ship lands and bounces and skids and crashes through undergrowth, it's a big old crash. The shields, like the screen in front of you goes dead. All of your screens are dead. This has been a horrific crash. And as the ship plows through...
Better than it could have been, though.
Better than it could have been. Much better than it could have been. This is great. As it plows through, I'm taking a threat. The various you can hear squeals and screeches from the hull as huge tree roots and branches impacting and scraping along, and the top of the bridge is torn open by a large branch just cracking through the top of it as it's dragged along behind, and this branch snaps off as it goes, and it's huge, it's gigantic, and lands on top of the ship. And as it does, it lands in the middle of the bridge. You are all fine. The captain is... You can't see them because the branch is in the way. And we're talking like a branch the size of a sequoia. Like, it's huge.
Okay, I do basic...
Ship is still crashing.
It's still crashing. As soon as it's possible for me to start moving and kind of making my way, even if the ship hasn't fully stopped, but just kind of almost doing like a mental checklist of, can I move that? Can I move that? Does that feel broken? Does that feel broken? Okay, I'm safe to move myself.
The moment you are safe to move yourself, you can. The ship is now grinding to a horrible, juddering halt. And you did everything you could, but the ship still crashed into a planet. It's pretty bad. As the dust settles, all of the computers are off. There is no power to the ship anywhere. There are emergency lights flashing, so clearly saw some emergency power running somewhere. Most of the ship's set has been like completely destroyed and bits of it fallen all over the place. And
All of our shirts are just randomly torn for some reason.
in really sexy places, yeah, definitely.
It's just a slip.
I just like the,
I don't know.
I just like the
Star
idea.
Trek.
I just like the idea that for no reason, Unrul's got a crop top.
And it looks
You
good.
had one thread that just got caught on a branch way back.
Also, wherever you go, there's just a long trail going behind you.
The ship has ground to a halt. You are all picking yourself up. You move over to the captain?
Yes, what I want to do is, presumably it looks like the captain's pinned
Yeah, presumably.
underneath. Captain, can you hear me? Can you make any kind of response, blink, move, etc. if you can
Can't
hear
see
me?
the captain.
Can I try to hear the
Well,
captain?
what can I see of the captain? Because I must know the captain's there.
Well, the branch is where the captain's chair was.
Can I see any body part, like
Roll
foot,
me.
shadow that the captain would be casting?
Can you roll me?
I have a focus and observation.
I'm afraid we had to identify your husband from his shadow.
Just like any demonstration
really
where
dark.
a body is.
Right, well,
The shadow is going to be dark, yeah.
yeah, that's very dark. Great. So you.
That's good. I'm going to put that in something.
You go over and try and find the captain. Roll me. You can
gonna
add
put that
observations
pattern
into
into a
focus,
buffer.
but what attribute and discipline would you like to use?
I think kind of discipline. It's now going into science in terms of just like if I'm looking for shadows and stuff because of objects cast in shadows.
Yeah.
And then control, fine detail.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
While you're running that, and can I grab a dish towel, please? I have spilled my water. I can't move.
Remind me what using my focus does.
It means that every success counts as 2 successes.
4 successes. 4 successes.
Wow, that's what numbers do.
Hey.
You gain a momentum.
Yay, momentum.
Thank you.
Captain.
You root around the and as
I'm
you
doing
are
this carefully to make sure, like, if I don't disturb, etc. What I want to do is establish where the captain is, if they're conscious, and then the next thing would be to use items to hold the tree in position so that it wasn't putting additional pressure on them, but additionally wasn't taking it off them and potentially ceasing to stem wounds.
You find the captain there beneath the branch. One of their legs is definitely twisting in a way that it definitely shouldn't. But you doing a quick medical check over on them, there are some busted ribs. They look like they may have a concussion. But as you start digging through this branch, you may need assistance to actually get the branch off the captain. You've just found them.
Okay.
I think I would have rushed over.
I step up as well.
If people are already kind of up on their feet and such, like.
Can I hear the captain's thoughts?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Okay, if we can clear everything around this, make no attempt to actually dislodge it off of the captain, because then they might simply hemorrhage. Okay, but if anyone finds any items that can be used to keep the trunk stable and move it up slowly.
There's plenty of big, heavy bits of metal lying around that currently have almost 0 function, so...
We're just going to use this piece of the set.
There's loads of set pieces lying around. You can use that. Yeah. Cool. Who is helping using pieces of the set? Who is moving bits?
Definitely helping.
Yeah.
Both of you?
Yes,
Three.
yes, sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, one of you spearhead it, and then you can both assist. You should definitely assist second because of parent figure, because of your talent.
Yeah, I'm also pretty fit, though.
Hell yeah. Bum me.
Slight giggles from off stage there. Good.
Yeah. Is this going to be fitness and what?
Fitness and security, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
That would be
pulling it back
14
there at the
overall
end.
for me. That would be 14 overall for
Okay.
me, if I don't know how everyone
That's
else
10
is.
for me.
Maybe you should assist
Yeah.
rather than
Now,
spearhead that one.
I think what you need to consider here is that if you assist the 2 of them, you can do so without penalty. If they assist you, and if both of them are helping with this, then the difficulty does get harder.
Okay. What's your
So mine would be 13.
All right, well,
So
maybe
maybe
And
I
then,
do
mine,
it.
and then mine's 10.
And then this is my new character voice. Yeah, my name is Fuck. See now? Please.
Yeah, shall we?
Yes.
So who's making the main roll?
Me.
Okay, go for it.
That is 2 fails because I need 13. That sucks.
You sure you want me to roll?
I have 1 success so far.
You need to roll 1.
Do it.
It's a pass.
Sweet.
2 successes is not enough currently.
Okay, but we can burn some stuff.
We can spend some momentum.
Yeah.
Do you want to spend momentum on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to. Who's spending the momentum? Actually, Matt, you used to be ahead of the task. You have to spend the momentum.
Okay. I will do that then.
Can you roll like 1 momentum at a time?
Yes, of course you can. Although I will say the first momentum dice costs 1, the second costs 2, and so on.
Cheeky.
Okay. What if we buy them both together?
Then you're spending 3 momentum to buy 2 dice.
So it doesn't.
And we'll get 1 back anyway
Okay.
if we over-succeed, so...
Yeah. Okay.
You spend all 3 momentum, no problem.
Oh my god, that's a fail as well.
Okay, one failure.
And that is also a failure.
You're 3 momentum, so you get 1 more.
No.
No, we used.
What first dice costs 1,
Yeah.
second dice costs 2. You can.
Our head of security can't move a branch.
You can.
Looks like we
It's
need
a special
branch
branch.
manager.
We need a branch manager. These are all gold. Gold, I say.
You can buy a final dice for 3 threat. It is up
Ooh.
to you. So if you buy things, you're using security. If you buy things with threat,
yeah, then that's good because I get an extra one. Okay, I'm doing it. This is my best friend in the world. I'm doing
3 threat.
When...
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's only when I do it. I should have made this roll. That was daft. I should have made this roll.
Oh my god, 1 success on top of that. So where are we at?
1 success.
I mean, no, there's 2. We're at 3.
I see.
you've rolled 1 success in about 6
I know,
dice
yeah,
rolls.
it's insane.
Sometimes the dice just want the captain to die.
Yeah.
You get to re-roll one of those because you used bold.
Okay.
Yes. Come on, roll.
Yes.
A success.
So you get a momentum back because you only needed 3.
Okay. Good.
And you manage to use bits of the set, which is a really sturdy set, to lift this gigantic branch enough to put things underneath so the captain is accessible.
But we're very following what Krista is saying. It's
Yeah,
very,
I'm making sure that it's happening very, very slowly, so it's not suddenly, if anything, stemming bleeding or things like that. I don't want to kind of put the captain in a further state of shock.
What do you have on you medical kit-wise?
Medical kit wise, I have portable power cells.
Yes.
I have replicated
a whole bunch of shit.
I probably have like 1 or 2 muscle relaxants left over, and a lot of the stuff.
Just for fun.
A lot of the stuff in terms of radiation treatment. I don't know if there's anything else that I would typically have as part of like standard Starfleet. You always
I would
have
say,
this,
because you left
or-
medical bay, you would have a portable medical kit, so you can use this to try and treat the captain. That is fine. Can you roll me a... There's a special one for this. Give me a second.
Sure.
Finding the rules. Taking some time. Come on. Daring plus medicine for first aid.
Daring plus medicine, okay. Can I use emergency medicine or frontier medicine?
Emergency medicine is definitely it.
If it's not that.
Yeah.
So
definitely an emergency.
daring medicine.
Daring.
Hi, daring
Well,
medicine.
That's 2 successes because one of them was a fail.
That is not enough.
Can
Also, just to be clear, if you fail this roll, the captain will die.
yes, I know.
Just making it clear.
Right. I would like to purchase that momentum.
3 will also not be enough.
Okay. In that case, I'm just looking at because I've already spent my determination.
We can't help,
However-
can we? Because
You
we're holding up the tree.
You are currently holding up the tree. Yeah. This is all on the dot.
Okay. Could I?
Have you already used your determination?
Yes.
I have used my determination. However, I have a value.
That's got to change.
I have a value, which is my learning is done. from my time in Starfleet and being incredibly naive and just thinking, well, I've done all the training, so now I go and just apply training and that's done. However, in the future, I know that I have the value of never give up, never apologize, never surrender. And I think this is a perfect moment to go, I was not trained for this moment. If I was to rely on my learning right now, I would have nothing, but I need to keep trying. I don't want the captain to die.
One determination.
Gain 1 determination, which I can then spend.
You have to spend determination with a value.
With a, can I use my newly acquired value?
I think so. I think that's kind of a nice thing.
Never give up, never apologise, never surrender.
Sorry.
Timon would be so proud.
Damn it.
Never.
Yes, this is all perfectly within the rules and perfectly fine.
Beautifully written character.
Judges?
That's a yes from the judges, so we'll go forward with that.
So that's okay. So
that's 2 more successes. So you roll 4
determination.
successes.
Yes.
So I'll put
4
this momentum
successes.
back. You, through using every piece of medical kit that you have, and as well the frontier medicine triage that you learned as part of your upbringing, and there's a nice flashback to you saving a calf.
My parents were art dealers. There was no like.
Sometimes there's a calf.
Stopping a fat art dealer dying.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's very much the vibe of like when tracheotomies are done with pens on TV shows, and like you get sellotape around plastic bags to then kind of somehow transfer air in, and it's all that kind of stuff.
Amazing.
With all of that, you managed to stabilize the captain, who does not die. They are unconscious. You can still read their mind. You can read unconscious people's minds.
Oh, yeah.
How are you doing?
So if everybody else is...
The crop top's kind of cold.
So if anyone else is... So if I get anyone's thought, which is like, is he dead? I'll just be like...
Still.
Are they?
The captain.
No, he's alive.
They
They're alive, sorry. That's on me.
They're just collapsed on the floor.
Okay, we need to establish a space where it's safe for anyone who is heavily injured. Are you sorry? Are you still
You're holding up a fucking sequoia.
We're holding up a big tree.
I told you to
the
move things
set
and put them
piece.
in so
One
that
hand.
supported it.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, we were moving the set.
moved
weren't
other
we?
pieces.
Yeah,
We
we
Moved
did.
other pieces
Stabilise the
to
branch.
keep it in there. We need to create some kind of space where anyone who is heavily injured is able to not be under a goddamn tree. How many people are, and like just looking around, how many people have
bridge.
stood up, how many people are not responsive, etc.
Quite a few are, those that were already extras thrown across scenery are still unconscious. Quite a few other people are sort of slowly getting to their feet and sort of like shaking their head and like they're fine, but and you don't know about the rest of the ship, you have no idea.
Zukak, I might need you for diagnostics at points. You'll know if people are okay.
Well, we've crashed.
I mean, you can hear if they're thinking.
Oh, that's right, because that's all I'm good for. Okay.
I don't think that your lip is helping out the situation, Lieutenant.
No.
I am pointing out a way in which you can be useful in keeping people alive in this situation. I become abrupt. I'm abrupt.
I step into. Okay, that's enough. We've got a serious situation here. You can assist. Please do so.
I start going around to the people who seem to be conscious, and I am making sure they are not bleeding out, etc. Seeing like what I can tell of internal injuries.
And you're helping, yes?
Yes.
You quickly establish that no one else is near death, that all of these measures did mean the ship largely survived the impact. Do you communicate with the rest of the ship, or do you try to?
Yes. I know that there's no other medical officers.
Correct.
This is Chief Medical Officer Weaver. Please report on any unconscious or similar individuals nearby. This is to everyone present.
You start getting a lot of people messaging you back, quite unsurprisingly, really. Most people are fine. Quite a few people were knocked unconscious by the impact, but bar a couple of surface wounds, things like that, people seem to generally be okay. There's been no other hull breaches.
Sweet. I relay a message which is basically like, here are the core principles of what to do in terms of if you're near people, I'm passing on my medical expertise.
Basic first aid, yeah.
Yeah, like don't move people, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. Fine, no problem.
I come to you and I say, when you were analysing the data, did you see any signs of life on the planet?
As we were coming in, I saw signs of enormous insect life.
My eyebrows go through the top of my head.
You should see a doctor about that. Commander!
He's scared of being bitten.
Yeah. Everyone should... They were huge.
I'm scared of being bitten by the normal ones.
It's not going to make the situation any better, I'm afraid. If we're trying to keep the crew that remain alive, sealing...
Yeah, we need to gather everyone. I go to that. There's always like whenever they're in danger, they go to something and they touch it and it opens, and there's like phasers in there because you don't normally wander around on deck with your phaser.
Everyone would wander around with a Type 1 phaser at all times in case of the ship being boarded. But if you open that, there'd be phaser rifles in there. If you do that, then technically that means I get to escalate things. Is that what you want?
Is that what I want? I mean, not
like. In a meta-narrative way, you are frightened of the bugs.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah.
And I just got told they're the size of a house. So
They're really fucking big.
I feel like I'm not convinced my little hand arm is gonna take one of these things down.
Okay.
Your little
hand arm.
You can take one and you can hand out Type 3 phaser rifles if you want to. You can all accept them if you want to, or say no, I don't want that.
Well, I'm busy working on this subspace relay.
Yeah. You're not helping Dr. Weaver.
Oh, is that still going on?
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll take a while.
I don't think
boring.
that would be the best use of my energy and time, Commander. I'm going to scout around and see if we're in any imminent danger.
The ship or outside the ship?
Outside the ship. I want to see if there is.
Wow.
I want to see if there's like.
I think before we actually make it on the planet, we need to get everyone safe within the ship itself.
But we don't know whether there's going to be danger coming from outside.
We don't. But if the first sign of danger is that you are killed while you're scouting alone, then that's also not going to be a good thing.
Commander.
Does that fulfill your values? Messina? Does that fulfill your values?
I have been told to do something. Whether I will do it.
Oh, fine. You can always cross out a value and replace it if your perception of this has changed, and therefore you gain determination.
I haven't used my determination.
You can always have
but you can still. I have been looking at my value that is many hands complicate matters, which throughout the entire descent, we were working in tandem.
You were.
Very well.
You were.
And in a way that I haven't done before. And that is what saved a lot of the people. So I do think that I might cross out that value if that feels.
You performed that moment, yeah. You just gave you a direct order, and what does Messina do?
I defer to your command, Captain.
Thank you.
And you recognise this is something Messina has had trouble with in the past.
I do, I know.
You read my file.
Yeah. That worked really well as it could have done, I think.
It works, but we just lost a lot of people. I don't want to lose any more if we can help it.
Yes.
Not that.
Less than it should have been.
Slightly less should have been at the moment.
Oh, now it feels bad to go and look for bugs.
And you have a phaser rifle. You've taken one out. It's gone, fuck it.
I'm fully armed.
You're packing. Cool.
Yeah.
That has an escalation cost, which I will take into consideration.
Okay.
Oh no.
What's a good new value? Or shall I leave that and decide it off?
Make it organic. You currently don't have one. You need to replace it by the. You can do it by the next game. Is the way that it's written. Okay. So you can replace it immediately, maybe as a point of determination.
Yeah, I will think about it.
Something that contradicts the original one is often quite useful, but doesn't have to be. Yes. Cool. So you are all working together to check on the wounded people and make sure the ship is safe and gather everyone.
Yeah.
As you search around the what would be known as the what is it called? Place they all hang out. There's a meeting room, but it's got like a cool name.
Mess hall.
No. There's like a place where they all sit around a table and have like important chats.
Oh, conference room.
Conference room. Yeah. Conference room.
It's his ready room, isn't it?
Oh, cool.
No, that's
is it not? Is that
No, the ready room's like his office.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Still.
Well, their office, yes.
Yeah.
As you head across to the conference room, which is also off the bridge because a lot of stuff seems to happen there, you start directing people to the conference room, and people start coming in carrying people who are slightly injured but not badly. You get reports. You especially get reports. A couple people are being left lying in the brace position, like not brace, in the what's it called?
Recovery. In
the recovery position, and one of the people looking after them. So there's. No one. Some people are injured, not very many that badly, and first aid is being applied. And generally speaking, the only really bad injuries are the captain's.
Cool.
Because all of your stuff worked. I think that should be rewarded, frankly.
There are a lot of people in this room.
The room is not big enough for all the people that are slowly filtering in to get to it.
Yeah, I'm not staying in this room.
Like the contingent crew of a Galaxy class starship is a lot, and most of them have survived this. So they are either in the conference room or in nearby quarters that are being cleared, and there are people allowed to use that space. Just to make sure everyone's okay and that everyone's in the same place, which makes sense.
Yeah, there's too much noise in this room.
Okay, where do you go?
I need to get this subspace relay set up sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you go and find a?
I might as well just do it on the bridge.
Okay, so you're still setting up a subspace relay on the bridge. That's totally fine. Yeah. You're directing people with a phaser rifle. Go over there.
Yeah.
And you're helping with the direction process, I believe. And you're tending to wounded.
And what I'll do is people that I know are trained in phaser rifle, I'll hand out a couple to them as it goes.
Increases the escalation cost, my friend.
It's what he would do though.
I'm making sure that there's like level surfaces that the wounded can be laid on and things like that.
There are a couple. It's quite hard because the ship's at a slight angle, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like trying to adjust things so that it can be level with the ship.
As you're doing that, you also note that there's not a lot of, as in most of the power reserves are gone, the ship crashed, but there is still some emergency power, but not a lot. Certainly not enough to do anything that, like, there's enough for like one big thing or a couple of small things, but it's not like you can replicate 100 different things. Also, everyone needs radiation treatment because you're on a planet that is irradiated.
They haven't yet received.
No, but you made a ton of them. You can easily go and start handing them out. That's fine.
Cool. Yes, I kind of absent-mindedly like pat the like little bum bag that I have that has the.
Find it back, please.
Nope. The bum that has the power core in it. And yeah, I start kind of going to people and just very, again, like now in more abrupt mode.
Yes.
Just
giving someone one, telling other people to take some and hand them out to get everyone treated for the radiation poisoning very soon. You know that this will last about 4 hours. Then you'll need to do it all over again.
Yep.
You have enough to inoculate the entire crew about 2 or 3 times.
Cool. I make a note of the time.
Cool.
Lieutenant, where is the best place to set up this relay? Would there not be less interference?
Well, the interference would mainly be caused by the hull, and
there's a hole in the ceiling.
A hole in the hull. Wow. There.
A hole.
And besides, it's not the hull you have to worry about, it's the massive cloud of radiation it has to penetrate through.
Are there ways that we can make that more effective?
You could try boosting the signal with the same way that we used our sensors to boost the shields.
You need something to take in power.
But I'd need something to take in power. I need a container.
What could we use to focus that energy?
You know bits of the ship.
Yeah.
There could be some undamaged sensors you could use. The ship itself is running on emergency power.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, like, it's not actually doing anything at the moment, but there is a small bit of power you could use potentially there.
It could be the emergency power. We could try bringing some of the sensors down here, wiring them in.
The ship is existing as a glorified tent at the moment. I don't think the energy will be used elsewhere.
Well, I'll get started then. Hopefully there are some tools lying around somewhere.
So you're using the emergency power to plug in the subspace relay to boost a signal through, and maybe going to collect some sensors to try and use them to absorb energy like you did beforehand.
Yeah.
Cool. Can you roll me an engineering check? This is for collecting the sensor, if you can get energy from here. Because the first place you start is, do you have energy to do this? Because the power pack inside the subspace relay is quite strong, has a very limited range, and the radiation will dampen it significantly.
Exactly. Would you describe this as this is jury rigging 101?
This is jury rigging 101, and it's also science and engineering. I will also say, because the sensors were damaged in the crash, and because the sensors aren't made to absorb energy, this is something that you jury-rigged earlier that worked slightly well, but that's when you had full power to actually work with it. This is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
If I'm involved, is that something that I could be helping with?
Are you helping from an engineering perspective, or...?
I think more in the same sort of way as earlier in the show it was happening, in the sort of passing input, in the you're like, oh yes, you're working like this, and in the have you thought about approaching it from this way?
Yeah. Have you thought about? I've already read your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Like just sort of.
Sure,
just,
I will allow you to roll one extra as well. That's fine.
thank you.
It's the same thing. It's engineering, and I think in your case definitely reason. In your case, something else. It's up to you.
That is two passes on the dice with my focus. That's 4.
Need one more.
Command.
Yeah, taking some command. Why
Okay. What is the attribute that I'm rolling?
Probably reason. This is something that takes a lot of smarts.
Okay.
Sure, it's not control.
We've still got the momentum.
Am I engaging survival? Because it feels like I am. I am trying to.
For me, survival's things like tracking footprints and building fires and knowing where to put a tent.
Yes, but also we are playing in a sci-fi game.
Yes.
The sci-fi equivalent of doing that is what we're doing. It's
You
the
only need
like
one more
trying
success.
to.
It doesn't matter. You're either going to roll it or you're not.
Okay. I do.
Yay!
I roll it.
That's fantastic.
Sweet.
Between the two of you, you managed to reconfigure the sensors again and using them to absorb power from outside, but it's all jury-rigged up for one burst only. So you're using jury-rigging.
Yeah.
It's controlling for one burst only to get out of this mess, to try and get someone to come for help, and probably also to tell them what happened.
Yeah.
So you'll get one message.
It'll be helpful to give them just a standard distress signal, send out the coordinates.
Yes.
You probably need to tell them about what happens if they fly in here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
It'll be one verbal recorded message.
If there's a way that we can resolve the situation with the tetrion radiation before then, or perhaps find a different way to resolve it. Otherwise, we're just going to have a steadily growing collection of scrap metal on this godforsaken planet.
We could tell them about the sensor rewiring.
Perhaps if they began earlier on or came from a position where they were more prepared.
Might be able to increase their scanning range. They might even be able to teleport us all up.
Beam.
Yeah, beam. Teleport's not a word here. Beam.
I have written new value. 2 heads is better than 1.
Nice.
Oh, lovely. Which is great with my value. People are necessary, but I don't have to like them.
Works well. Can you record me the message that's going to be sent in one single burst?
I'm not the people person here.
Oh, God. Okay, so things that we need to cover in it are coordinate. We are here. What happened is the people, the risks are this. Okay.
Our potential solutions are this.
Potential solutions are this.
With all the power that you've got and the ability to punch through the radiation field to get it out, you are limited to 24 words.
I knew he'd do that.
Oh, I've never cast ending before. Can USS be one word?
Yes.
USS Titanic, shipwrecked, crashed.
We hit a radiation berg.
Coordinates.
Yeah, the coordinates, which counts as one.
Oh, this is hard. Ooh.
You have 20 more words.
Okay. Risk from Tetrion radiation. Absorb it. I don't know.
Absorb it with...
What did we absorb it with? I can't remember. It was the sensors and then rewired it. Yeah. Okay. Amplify with sensors. Rewire to shields. Good luck.
Got loads more words if you want them.
I don't know what else to say. Threats of local fauna.
Speaking of threats of local...
Yeah, I was thinking, I haven't spoken to you to let you know the time limit we have on radiation.
No!
As you are collecting people and taking them into the, mostly into the conference room and surrounding place to make sure everyone's okay, and you see Chris is going around and dealing with the radiation and giving you radiation treatment as well.
Okay. This environment would have a lot of insects anyway, because it's like lush jungle, dense kind of stuff. I am extremely allergic to insect bites. Will you have something on hand in case that becomes an issue?
Is that something that would be in a standard kit, or is that something that I now need to kind of make?
Standard kit.
Okay.
Everyone's got, what's it called?
It's like an EpiPen, isn't it?
Yeah, basically like an EpiPen. If there's just one, I'm going to give it to you. If there's two, I'm going to keep one myself.
There's just one.
There's just one. Keep this on yourself, obviously, but if you are traveling with anyone at any point, tell them where it is.
Okay.
Okay. I assume you know how to use it.
Yeah, thank you.
You are very observant.
Yeah.
There is movement outside the conference room window.
Thank you.
Do I like notice you seeing something? Because
probably, yeah. I go back into like that being like a moment between people to like switch back onto the job straight away.
Okay.
Get yourself somewhere safe. And I shout, "We have movement, people outside."
Most people here are injured. Some you've given some phaser rifles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just eyes on. We don't know if they're friendly or not friendly at this point. No firing until I give an order.
Do you look at the movement map?
Yes, obviously.
Then roll for it, Jesus! One off the difficulty for this.
Okay.
We're playing a role-playing game, not a role-playing game.
Nice.
Oh man, that'll be 2 because we're one of them. But
can I assist?
Yeah.
Given that like I have observation, I have focus.
2 at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So what reason and something else?
Well, you're looking. Security.
Reason and security. Oh. No.
I've taken 1 off the difficulty because of your ability, and it's still not enough.
And they've
Still
rolled
enough.
20 as well.
Oh no, that's not good. Meanwhile, we're just like, great, everything's smooth.
Really
sailing.
smashing this.
Yeah.
At the moment, you haven't seen what it is.
I haven't seen what it is,
Been rolled.
and there's a complication.
We've got,
I think
we've got
we
to spend it.
do we or do we
on.
do we do we?
Come on.
Come on, treat yourself.
There's definitely not going to be combat where we're going to need it.
Oh, go on, spend your momentum. Go on, go on.
You can't take it with
I don't want to. Yeah.
Go on, your nan got you that. Go on.
I don't want to add any more threat, even though that's good in this situation, but I really don't want to do that because there's a lot of threat on the table right now.
Do you have any determination left to be used?
I haven't, but I am really saving that for like an absolute life or death situation.
Fair.
Yeah.
So
we don't see it. Yeah, we don't see it despite looking.
You choose to
You're not using the momentum, you choose to fail.
I mean, I've expressed my feelings about it.
Are we one away? Yeah. Take the momentum. Yes.
Yes.
Is that
And that'll count as 2, so that's 4.
So maybe put it together.
Get it right back.
Hey!
The windows smash in.
Okay.
Even though there was a hole in that. Fuck. Ah,
Yeah.
why are you raised in a barn?
As a series of animate vines are just coming in and wrapping around people and starting to drag them out of the ship.
Absolutely not.
You're going to stab the vine with the muscle relaxant.
Yes. I'm gonna relax that vine.
Vines don't have muscles.
But would there be some other chemical thing that might happen?
You know what?
It's Star Trek.
Yeah. This is
together to let it go.
This is space muscle relaxant, not your average everyday muscle relaxant.
Exactly. It's you, the closed-minded one.
For all you know, this muscle relaxant is actually about sending out minor pulsating vibrations that disrupt different types of communication in organic life forms and therefore would relax the muscles in a person, but also relax the muscles in organic. And yes, I am trying to do the whole technobabble thing.
And exactly, this is the thing. There's so many different kinds of species on the ship, and it has to be effective for all of them, even though everyone's going to have very different biology.
And I don't technically know that these vines aren't some form of person, because it's space.
Because it's space.
The vines have wrapped around 3 people and are dragging them towards windows. It is now, in initiative terms, in combat terms, both of your actions. If you want to go and then reach out and stab it with a muscle relaxant, you can do that.
Well, I think is it whoever has the highest daring.
Well, I
goes
go
first.
first.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because I have a talent for that.
We all know that.
He has quick to action.
Quick to action.
So yeah, you always get to
So
go
I go
first.
first.
Holding a phaser rifle.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to shoot it, obviously not at a point where it's around the person. I'm going to shoot it at a point before that.
Can you please roll me a control plus security?
Control, okay. It's not terrible. Oh, God,
That's a
terrible.
20.
That is terrible.
Why? Can you stop?
If someone dies, not because I didn't save them, but because you shot them.
Yeah.
You can't lift a tree. You can't shoot a vine.
The GM gave me these dice at the start of the game.
Matt, have you considered just not rolling 20s?
Take them back. Take them away.
Have you considered just rolling better?
You just take the rifle and fire one of the vines, but just scorch a mark into the wall, and you don't hit it, and you...
I would like to, if it's depending on the reach, 1 in each hand, and trying to get 2 at like their
You
base.
can get 1.
Okay. I go for one of them.
Daring plus security, please.
Daring plus security. Oh, okay.
You're also really good at punching things, and what are you doing but punching it in?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got hand-time
What is a
combat.
stab if not a vertical punch?
What is this if not the perfect combination of hand-time combat and emergency medicine?
Yeah.
I will allow a focus on this. What does mean right hook do? What does mean right hook do?
It just means that I have a 3 damage.
Okay.
Oh my god! I rolled 2 20s.
Oh my God.
Could you consider, Chloe, for a second, just not rolling 20s?
Hey, remember when we were really good at saving everyone during that crash? And now vines are gonna kill us. Can I...
We're going to die surrounded by morons.
So, I'm gonna put this to the group. Well, what would you all like to do? I mean, there is a momentum. It would at least mean that I didn't have 2 critical.
It still means you have a critical fail.
You can't get rid of them.
You can't get rid
They're
of them.
there. You can add successes on top.
Well, the momentum allows you to re-roll.
Yes, but it doesn't get rid of the 20s, does it?
Doesn't get rid of the 20s.
Oh, I see. Well, then...
Hey, Chloe,
That's
sometimes
Momentum is a nice reroll, it buys more dice. There is a significant difference because the results still stand.
I see.
sometimes you got to just do it for the vine.
I like you.
I will give you no more muscle relaxation.
Oh, no!
I will die of radiation poisoning.
Because we're not having muscle relaxation.
That's when you go, well, I become abrupt.
Yeah, so I absolutely bosh it.
Please tell me with
So horrifically.
with two fails. Does she accidentally inject herself?
Oh, no.
Whoa.
If I do, I'm just going to keep trying to do stuff because you never give up and you never apologize.
Apologise and you never surrender.
Wow, Chris, you really whiffed that. Maybe you should apologise.
Never.
You stab the tentacle with this muscle relaxant and nothing happens. The tentacle's already... the vine has already grabbed various people and suddenly another vine comes shooting through and grabs you.
Yeah.
And you are being...
Sounds-
All 4 people are now being pulled out of the ship and are being dragged up and out of the ship and away. You've already shot and missed.
Yeah, I know.
4 people have now run, and there are more vines
Coming in.
like, making their way in. The bridge command, there's a hole in the roof of the bridge, and suddenly these vines just like pouring in through the ceiling.
Do I have a... I wouldn't have a phaser on me.
You
would. You'd have a normal phaser.
Everyone's
Okay. Can I try to overclock it?
You may use your type 1 phaser. Yes, you can charge it.
Yeah.
You can either make it have an area of effect, make it more intense, make it more likely to break through armor, or do more damage.
Area of effect.
Brilliant.
I'm going to throw it straight up into the air.
The area of effect version of it is to sort of like make a fan, and there's only 2 of you on the bridge at this point because everyone else is out, so you could just literally like hit everything in front of you in a big gold cone effectively.
I'll do that.
Sure. Make me a control plus security. Hang on, whose daring is higher?
Your daring will be higher.
Okay, so you're planning to do this, but you technically get to go first. What would you like to do?
Are you to do that? Does it keep your phaser intact, or does it like?
Yes, keep it intact.
It does keep it intact.
Okay. We don't know anything about.
I mean,
the
I
life
can
forms.
wire it to explode if you want.
Yeah. We don't know anything about the life forms
do
on
not.
this planet.
You do not.
We have just.
It's not
come
on
in-
kill.
Pardon?
It's not on kill.
No, but also we have just ploughed through lots of the life.
Yes.
I would like to try and talk to the plants.
Okay.
I
No, that's fine.
the
What would you like to say? And you need to roll something to talk to them because plants aren't good at
Well,
English.
question as well.
Yep.
If this is happening, about whether you also have someone who might understand plants. If
I don't understand plants. No, you're looking at me.
Can you?
well, if they
Can you
communicate, if they
hear?
have thoughts.
anything
Do they
from
have
plants?
thoughts?
No.
Well, maybe I should.
Probably why I went straight for the phaser.
Yeah.
That's right. I thought I'd just check.
Yeah,
Well,
smart.
to be like, if I asked you, I would find out that the plants don't have thoughts.
And I would,
Why not shout that out?
and I would be very annoyed that people are asking me about telepathy and not my engineering.
Are these plants cognizant?
No. Why do people always ask me these questions?
Hell. I'm just gonna shoot.
Yeah, well, I'm doing this. No, stop asking me these questions.
He's going to shoot one of them. You shoot to kill?
No.
You stun one of them. He's going to stun one of them. One that's like rearing up like a snake and just coming down towards you.
Yes.
Cool.
Because I'm. What I'm going to do is stand in front of the communicator. I would like to stop it
Subspace
from destroying that. That is my fear. I would like to. Is there an action that is to do with protecting something? Because if there is, that is the one that I would like to take.
One of my focuses is phaser injuries.
Taking them or giving them?
Taking them.
Technically taking them, but because
Okay, you are giving.
there's wiggle room here.
You are guarding the subspace relay.
That is what I'd like to do. What does that mean for me, Chris?
It is a task, so therefore you cannot attack.
Okay.
So you just
What do I need to do?
you just stand in front of it and guard it. It's fine.
Okay.
It's difficult to hit it.
Rad. That's what I do.
You stand in front of it with the phaser out, just ready, and you in the meantime and try and do a big shot on everyone.
Yeah. I'm not much of a shooty person.
Control plus security, please.
It is not a high number.
Well, it is a high number.
It is,
No, it's not a high number.
Yeah, it's not a
However, it's 2 successes.
Holy shit, you keep rolling good.
It was 9 and I rolled a 2 and a 4.
Amazing.
Smashed it.
You pull the phaser out, and this stunning blast comes out and hits the vines, and they are affected much like humanoids would be, and just droop and flop down like they're just hanging lianas over the side. Some of them are twitching a little bit, and they will get to move at some point, but not yet. And you're still standing in front of the subspace relay with your phaser out.
Yes.
This is all totally fine.
Yes.
In the meeting room,
This is all totally fine. Conference room on the other hand.
Somewhere where it's not fine
in the
is.
conference room, you are still being dragged out. And you are dragged out and up and above the ship. You can see the ship below, and you can see these vines just going over the whole ship.
The whole half.
And you can see that looking around you, these vines.
Observant.
You're observant. These vines are all connected to what looks like a very large bulbous tree, and it is just trying to capture the entire ship, and people from the ship are all being dragged out with you.
Ensign Wilhelm!
I'm already injured.
Yeah, on that, it's not. It's simply holding me. It's not like crushing. I'm not actually getting injuries from this.
Not at all.
Okay. And it seems to be, again, encapsulating the ship. It doesn't seem to be actually crushing or putting pressure on the ship.
Overgrowing it is the way it looks.
Overgrowing it, okay. But I guess if it continues to overgrow too much, that's still going to be a danger to people.
Yep.
Oh gosh, okay. Right. I mean, if I free myself, presumably I'm just going to fall from a height now.
From a very, very great height.
Right.
If only there was a way to relax your muscles so you wouldn't take so much.
Could. I'm trying to think. You know, this is Chloe trying to go, how do I fix all my problems with medicine? Like, how can everything just be like
That's a slippery slope.
Because actually, yes, maybe this could. Okay, these vines. Do they seem to be? Obviously, they're strong enough and sturdy enough to wrap someone up.
Yep.
But would I say, if I was to go by like their density and strength, would I rate them more as like bone, cartilage, or skin?
I hate this question.
Like on a scale of like squidgy to rock solid, where do they
Well,
sit?
none of those, Chloe. They're vines.
I know,
But are they squidgy vines?
from firmness, from squidgy to solid.
Are they flaccid or turgid?
They're turgid, like a muscle.
Okay, but like muscle. Okay.
Like muscle.
Like muscle, but not enough for a relaxer.
Wow, that's cartilage regenerator that I had from earlier. Can I? I know. There's a lot of cockamamie plans. Can I plug that into the battery core, the portable power cell that I have, so that I can make it run at quite like fierce speeds?
Yes.
What I'm thinking is if there is any way that I can start to coat any vines in cartilage so they can't physically grow, move, manipulate within a cartilage shell.
Cartilaginous.
Cartilaginous shell. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Cartilaginous Shell. That's because I'm just looking at all I've got. It's like I
Yes,
don't
I am a
wanna fall
dentist. How did you
down,
know?
But actually, if there's something I can do to stop any developing vines.
The nice thing about this system is you're absolutely welcome to try and do this. It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
If you got pulled over to the body and then did it to the actual body, it could do the whole thing.
But well, the thing is, I don't know how much more it's going to do to the ship by the time I get to the body. And I also don't know what the makeup of the body is. Like whether the body is cartilaginous or is turgid or what it is.
Shit.
We don't know if there's a buffer. We don't know if there's a pattern.
Sometimes your cartilaginous pattern is just not getting on with the turgid
It's
buffer.
cartilaginous.
Cartilage.
Cartilaginous, I think.
So what I want to
Tell me, isn't it? I don't know.
Don't.
Like Chitanius, right?
There's not much to actually, or do I just want to do it to the
Yeah.
holes in the... no, because they can punch through holes.
That's what I said.
They can punch through windows.
Cutaneous for nails, chitinous for
Bugs.
But,
cartilaginous for cartilage.
Listen to what Chloe
I
said.
know I am. I've already said it's a 5 difficulty thing. Go for it.
Yeah, starting with myself.
for it.
Okay, so 5 difficulty.
Yeah.
I believe in you. Mostly.
Is this emergency or frontier medicine?
No.
Just because, like, I'm also going, how there's only one momentum there.
Yeah.
How, other than me rolling 2 ones and using the momentum, how am I going to get 4?
You can buy more thread. You can always buy more thread.
Oh no.
Yes. Okay, well, let's just...
You've got the air of the merchant from Resident Evil 4 at the moment.
Actually,
What are you, boy?
Is this daring in medicine?
It can be. I think it's very daring.
It feels like daring in medicine.
I'll take it.
That is exactly the number I needed for the first one.
Daring do.
That is a success. So I have 2 successes on my initial 2 dice.
You need 3 more.
Yes. Could I... Okay, so... Because I'm going to quickly... Do we want me to buy with momentum? Do we want it to be solely adding via threat?
I think use the momentum.
Yeah.
And then add to the threat.
Okay, so using momentum.
Can Matt help at all?
I don't think so.
No.
It's
That's another success.
It's injecting a vine with something that will make cartilage grow on it. That is next to useless here.
Are you sure that's
Well,
not
I have-
frontier medicine?
Yeah, I have focus. I have a focus in
feel like
medical
I'm
tech
being-
because of my parents' upbringing. So.
Oh, interesting.
I feel like I'm being very creative with my medicine in a frontiers-like way.
You have 3
Fine.
successes.
I've had 3 successes,
Are we
and
on
my
the-
only other option is to add threat.
And if this is the last possible frontier that we could be in, we've got to keep that safe.
This is
space.
the final frontier.
This is
Chloe,
space.
you have 3
The
successes.
final
What would you like to do?
I'm with you. I'm with Grace on this.
Amount of threat to roll 2 more dice.
That is 5 threat.
Holy fuck bucket!
What?
Whoa!
2 and then 3. That's also the most you can possibly add. Oh no, you've only bought 1, so it's 3. You buy.
Yeah. For a moment, I was like, what?
You're buying
Shit
3.
in
My
a
bad.
bucket. Yeah.
These both have to be successes.
Say shit in the bucket.
That's a success.
One more.
And we're going to take a quick break now.
Oh no, we're not.
Peering over. It's the number I needed. I don't get too excited.
You have 5 successes. The
I
vine,
cover it in cartilage.
the vine around you starts to stiffen and harden in its locked position around you, and it's sort of like it's clearly weighing a bit too much, so it sort of like droops a little, and you're managing to stop it from pulling you in any further, and there's clearly something wrong. But the other crew people who have grabbed you are just being dragged off.
I communicator.
Yep.
And I think I'm gonna probably Zukok.
Don't want people talking to me.
Lieutenant Zukok, I have a cartilage regenerator. It will stop the vines invading the ship.
Is there any way you can get it to me?
I can throw.
Can I?
It needs more power.
It's
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it.
We have replicators.
You have very little power.
with what power will we?
Yeah, that's why I've got this on a separate power source.
Is there any way you can get me your power source and
Throwing.
all right.
It's not anyone's turn. I have burned a lot of threat.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it has.
I don't think there even would be vines unless somebody got a bunch of fucking rifles.
There is a large buzzing, a sort of
There we go.
and a humongous insect, looks like a gigantic praying mantis, is landing on top of the ship. And you can, like, you leaning out the window, looking out, go, oh no.
This is the second time I've been in a game that Chris is running where they've used a giant praying mantis.
It's almost like I have an obsession. Good. Now,
A very specific and strange obsession.
Who's your favourite character in the Star Wars cantina? Is it the giant praying mantis?
everyone goes.
Yeah, that one.
This gigantic praying mantis, the size of a small house, has landed on top of the ship.
Okay.
Hey, Matt. In combat rounds, it is your turn. Don't forget, you don't have to shoot everything. I mean, you can if you want to.
By small house, are we talking bungalow? Are we talking semi-detached Georgian townhouse?
You know, well, those classic 2-ups. You know, nothing special.
Oh, 2 up, 2 down? Yeah.
Property is special.
Okay.
Theft.
Well, we're still. Did the vines get hit? And yeah, they got knocked out, didn't they?
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had it.
For now.
Some of them, not all of them.
I had it
All
on.
crewmen.
I had it on stun, not maximum stun. If I'd specified maximum stun,
Well, killing things is bad. You know?
it's not the Starfleet way. I mean, the Prime Directive is out the fucking window anyway.
I'm just gonna slam dunk a spaceship
I love the
into.
idea of, hang on, the Prime Directive, we crashed our ship into their planet.
Yeah.
Rules. And
Not just we crashed their ship into their planet, we like blew up a bit of their planet to help aid the descent of crashing our ship into their planet.
Yeah.
Might have been interpreted as a hostile act.
The Prime Directive says, yikes!
I'm not getting on another ship. They're going to fucking retire me. They're going to retire my ass.
what are you gonna do, man?
At 37, they're going to retire me.
Sounds great.
Do you have the option of holding your action in this? So even though I can go first, can I?
Ready, can't you?
Yeah. Can I ready to?
Yeah, and then the moment that something triggers it, you get to do it.
Sorry.
Okay. So I'm gonna focus my rifle on this massive creature, and I'm gonna shout. What am I going to shout?
Shaka, when the walls.
I use my complicated eye movement, speaking language to see if it understands.
Wow, that never came up, did it?
Yeah. And I'm going to shout, "We are not hostile," just in case it can understand us. Do not. We are not hostile. Do not attack. And I'm going to use my battlefield diplomacy. That's
He's going to reason.
So I'm going to so I'm going to hold the rifle down, but I'm going to shout.
The floor was the problem.
that's fine.
I'm going to shout, "We are not hostile. Do not attack." But it's ready to go up the second this thing does actually attack.
You are trying to communicate with a praying mantis the size of a house.
That could be a person.
It could be that could be
don't
just
know.
how you know. It's Bob.
It's a lot of aliens.
I don't want to shoot Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve would be really annoyed if I shoot Bob.
No, I understand.
Yeah, Bob, did you hear that noise over there? I'm going to go check it out.
Big on that. I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah, but they sound high pitched to each other.
Yeah.
So, I need you to roll me, I think, presence
Presence, okay.
and probably command.
Presence and command. Wow, that's a really big number.
It's also very difficult to communicate with a gigantic praying mantis.
Do not add more threat.
I am not adding more threat.
Hey, there's not hardly any threat.
Yeah, because he burned 5 of them.
That's one success.
It's nowhere near enough.
It'll be two
successes.
successes using battlefield diplomacy.
It's getting closer to being enough.
Exactly.
Now might be a good time to activate one of your values. Shit's getting a bit fierce and we've not got long left.
I am going to.
In that case, I activate my value.
What is it?
Give me
Determination?
time.
You burn your determination.
I'm going to burn my determination, which will give me 2 successes, but will give me 4 successes per battlefield. So 5 overall.
Yep. And what value are you using?
What do you mean? What value?
You have to use a value to use determination.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
I'm the Eye of the Storm, and I want everyone to calm the fuck down.
Noise.
Matt, you have a value that I'm looking at called Don't Judge a Book.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. There's that.
Don't judge a book. by its cover.
Don't judge
Yes.
Bob.
I'm not going to...
By its chitinous.
You see, the thing is,
Titanus!
I didn't even go for that one straight away because it's just so built in. You know, I just automatically don't do that.
He just feels it.
I'd already
Yeah.
roleplayed it,
Yeah.
Can you please roleplay trying to talk to a giant mantis who don't judge a book by its cover?
Okay.
He just spoke to it, like...
Yeah.
If it makes it easier for you, we'll all pretend to be praying mantises.
Wow, this looks great on the screen.
We are on your planet by accident. We do not come as a hostile force. We were forced into out of the atmosphere. We mean you no harm. We have many injured. We need help. Our people will come to help us. But it would be amazing if you can help us in any way. But please do not attack. We have many injured.
There's only one.
That was so good considering the fuckery we were doing.
I have a very important question for you.
Okay.
As this gigantic buzzing head looks at you, do you lower your rifle?
Oh yeah, I already said I lowered it. So yeah, it was down.
Cool.
It's rolling a lot of dice.
Yeah, rolling all the dice.
That's.
Probably fine. Honestly, I reckon
That's like
it's
the
probably...
third
Listen,
time that
being
we've done.
digested isn't all that bad.
Gives you a lot of time to think about
Yeah,
things.
don't worry. The insect bite will kill me way before.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So,
You've
you know.
got your happy pad!
Being digested gives you lots of time to think about things. I've been ruminating a lot.
Yeah. Oh.
4
We should play more often. This is great.
40 on stress tracker.
I have tough.
That's to avoid an injury, so you have to take an action to avoid the injury.
Oh, I see.
No.
I thought it was just like I take a bit less harm.
Avoiding an injury? Well, you can't avoid this one anyway.
Okay.
No way.
So that's four harm, which equates to 4 stress.
Yes, please. 5. 4. I rolled them.
For what? We disabled
I'm about to
all the-
tell you, it's a bit. Oh, I'm trying to raise the tension. And 3.
3.
So 5 for these chuckle fucks.
Bob, you fucker.
Can I guess? Can I guess?
Always hated you, Bob.
Is it acid? It sounds like acid.
It is not acid.
Yeah.
In your minds is a horrible buzzing, droning, and you are instantly impacted by just a wave of radiation. It's horrible. It cuts through you. It did more damage to you. This feels quite fitting. You all just go, oh, like it's really, really badly hurt you. Hey, you're a telepath, aren't you?
Yeah.
You get the same injury, but you also realise that this is communicating. And what it is saying is...
Oh. Okay.
The vines repair. How can we help you?
Oh no.
Great, everybody shut up. Everyone shut up.
There's no one around you above you.
I throw up.
Oh no, it's a Star Trek. No. Okay, this is our Star Trek. You throw up, you vomit copiously.
I
Okay, they
I'm
communicate.
sensitive to radiation and just got hit by a
Okay,
massive
they communicate
wave of it.
through bursts of radiation. You need to absorb the power. This is it. Everybody shut up!
We could boost the shields with the radiation from their communication.
It would need to be controlled bursts, and you'd have to wire it up to something that could You'd have to wire it up to me.
This is very Star Trek.
What do you do? The vine that you are in has stopped. The mantis is just you've sort of like sort of leaned out the window and probably
Okay.
Fusi over
Okay.
the side.
I can. With my telepathy, I can read thoughts, but I can also project my thoughts into other people.
can.
Right?
Absolutely.
It just takes a lot of effort.
Yes, it does.
Okay. I'm going to communicate this plan and all the things that I need
To everyone.
to everyone at the same time, and I will take harm for this.
Shit, it's nice. Okay. Do it.
All right.
Cool. Do it.
What am I doing? I'm doing. I guess this is control and engineering.
Yeah, it is.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Although, oh no, I spent my determination, but this would be a change in my value, which is that people are necessary, but I don't have to like them.
What are you changing it to?
Just like asking for help is important.
You get determination for that, and you can spend it immediately.
Thank you. Yeah. There you go. Which is good because I'm doing control and engineering, which is not as high as it usually is. Well, 1's a 20.
What is the thing?
And 1 is a 6.
What is the thing that you are trying to do right now?
This is me communicating with you all telepathically, so I can't get any help on
It's
this.
just communicating.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the next thing.
You have 1 success. That's not enough to succeed at the moment.
1 success.
What about the determination? Are you spending
Oh, so that is 3, isn't it? So 3 success, that is enough.
Yeah.
You take 9 points of harm.
Oh dear.
I'm out. I'm on -3.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Cool. You are injured. You collapse to the floor, like hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
Awful.
Do we get the message though?
You do get the message.
You get the exact details of the thing I need,
But you are currently lying on the ground.
Down.
which also involves me being alive to complete this.
Yeah.
Down in this game means an injury. So a massive injury was sustained and you are unconscious. But the vine holding you, because the message was received by the mantis, the vine holding you slowly starts to move back towards the ship.
Cool. As soon as I'm within a safe distance to kind of drop down or climb out, I do.
It tries to unravel, but it can't. It's covered in cartilage.
Yeah.
The vine's coming past you if you want to help.
Yeah.
Cool.
I will.
Fitness and security?
Yeah, sure.
Am I adding to this in
Fitness and
terms of
security
my...
is please.
2 successes.
Great.
I'm just rolling the 1, right?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine if we rolled this many 20s in a game of D&D.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Hey, I got all of my 1s out of the way in the first half.
Yeah, the mantis doesn't know that this hurts you.
We're all gonna die.
It doesn't.
You can't die, but the rest of us.
I mean, maybe it was just like a clone of me or something in the
That's right. I grew up in a pot.
2 points of damage.
Okay.
2 points of damage, so off the stressor again, and
Okay.
3 points of damage from you. You do manage to break free, but the mantis communicates with all of you again, and again it's just sickening and horrible, and you all feel terrible. But what you get in your mind is, we will assist with this plan. Apologies that this hurts you. We don't know any other way.
I shout because I don't know how they receive things. But I say, if you communicate with us anymore, you are gonna kill some of us.
I mean, there are crewmen all over rolling and moaning.
And I so we've heard your plan.
And you've also, yes, you've heard your plan.
What did
I've essentially sent you a blueprint.
Yeah.
what
which
do
is
we currently know?
which is you need to rewire the sensors, which were already rewired into
Into the subspace relay.
into the subspace relay, and you need to find a way to link it up, not so it's absorbing all of the ambient radiation, and so that we can send out that radiation in pulses, and then you also need to plug me into it.
What will that do?
Because I'm the only person who can translate.
But the radiation will still hurt people. Oh no, because the sensors will absorb them.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's it.
And you can control and
And then I can control the pulses and understand. Yeah,
I think I would have calmed you and said,
I was down.
Lieutenant Cedric is down
Yeah.
I'm just where
Bridge.
at the bridge.
pegging it to the bridge.
Are you going with?
Yeah.
Cool. You run to the bridge and
just blood.
yeah, it's awful. You need to save his life.
Yes.
Or else he can't communicate with them and try and solve this mess.
Yes. Is it just well, initially I need to establish what has gone wrong.
It's going to be one roll to establish and fix.
Okay. Is this reason in medicine, daring in medicine, control in medicine?
I would say it's reason and medicine because it's complicated what's happened to him.
Okay, that's a smaller number. It's fine. Okay, so Oh my god.
My God.
No way!
There's no fucking way that you've done it.
No way!
2 in a row.
2 20s.
No, the first one is a 20 because I just wanted to do
Make it more
once at a
agonizing.
time.
Yeah, cool.
The second one is a success.
You need more than one success, and the complication
This is-
here, I'm going to very easily
This is
say-
emergency medicine, though.
It is.
It
it's
is
2
emergency
successes.
medicine,
Yeah.
so it's 2 successes.
The
I can't use more than one.
The complication
focus,
here
can
is
I?
that I've increased this roll by 1 difficulty.
Great.
Okay.
You have
So
one
I have.
success.
I have.
You have 2 successes.
I have 2 successes. I can't use any like untapped potential to help me out with this kind of thing, can I?
Only by buying.
If you buy things, you can roll dice. You may. None of you have.
I'd have to like get some more threat to roll again, wouldn't I?
Yep.
Like,
That's the
otherwise
only-
he's going to die. And we don't
Okay,
have another plan at the moment. So.
Threat. That is the number.
So it's a success.
Yeah, 3 successes.
2 more successes.
It's 4.
Two more successes. Okay, 4. Is anyone able to, like, I can instruct others
Yes, you can.
to hold his head, help me with looking at this, etc. Keep him stable and secure because I can see that this is going wrong here, so I need you to apply pressure there, that kind of thing. Could
It
anyone
was 4. It's now 5 because of the complication.
could anyone help me? Like, if you're
Yeah.
there, I can be.
I can
Not
help.
good at medicine or anything like that.
And I have a focus in medical tech if there's any tech that helps this. If
Yeah,
there's anything
definitely.
you use that does that.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like if I've got like a dermal regenerator and things like that, you can be
Yeah.
using some of that tech to just like patch this
Okay.
up and stuff whilst I look at like the big picture in the head.
So this is reason and medicine, right? Is that right? This is I need a 10. We got a 50% chance of this.
Oh Jesus.
Fucking
It was a 9.
It was a 9.
And you gain a momentum because that's 6 successes. Right, you managed to stabilize and up Einro.
Okay. Einroll, can you hear me?
Not so loud. I can hear your panic and your thoughts.
Okay.
I back away just a little bit to give you a little bit of space.
Right. We have to rig this now.
Yeah.
There's a sort of clong. The whole ship vibrates as this gigantic man sort of appears in front of the bridge and appears in.
Oh, so everybody got my message? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, they should be bringing all the things in.
People are arriving with stuff that they were told to bring. They don't know why they were told to bring it. The man is just looking in. You can now communicate with it directly without any rolls. That's just, it's right there.
Yeah.
And it knows that it can communicate with you.
Oh, yeah, it knows I can communicate with me.
You just can't talk back.
Yeah. Oh, I can talk like verbally at it.
It will. You are communicating what you are communicating because it can understand verbal language.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I will let it know that we're building a device that will allow us to communicate without hurting either party.
It doesn't have a concept of nodding.
Oh, but
I also mentioned to you that while you were knocked out, I was shouting, trying to tell them that it hurt us.
cool. You don't need to tell me. You just have to think it.
You need to roll me a very high engineering and reason check to make this device.
Is that just the making device? Is it also the execution of
Yes,
it?
it is. It's putting everything together.
Okay.
You've already started working on sensors absorbing radiation.
This is
and then control.
this has got jury rigging written all over it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna spend that momentum to do this cautiously.
Sure.
I don't think anything's more cautious than this moment right now.
No.
Which means you have two. You're rolling 2. You're rolling 3 because of momentum by.
Yeah.
You can re-roll one of them.
I can reroll one.
Exactly.
Say it as well.
Okay, 2 successes, which means 4.
Is that a success?
Yes, because oh no, it's 17, so it's 1 fail. So it's 2 successes, 1 fail.
But you've only rolled 2 so far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
You have 2 successes,
so I roll 1 more.
Yeah.
Okay,
and you get to re-roll 1,
and that's another 2 successes,
and you get to re-roll.
and I'll re-roll that 18,
Yeah.
I will happily.
and
do
that's
that as well. Yeah.
that's a clean
Einroll's
sweep.
on it.
Yeah.
You manage to create a device that absorbs this radiation through the sensors, which allows you to communicate with them, but the radiation will still be dangerous. Like, some of the others are immune to this, especially the Denobic, who is incredibly susceptible to radiation. There's still a bit of emergency power left in the ship.
Yeah. Still a bit of emergency power left on the ship.
Yeah.
Can I ask the computer if it can use the remainder?
It's off.
Ah, damn it.
We were using this radiation before, and
First class space relay, yes.
but we also at some point when we were approaching reprocessed it into the shields.
Yeah, the ship's very damaged. There's enough here to shield everyone on board the ship apart from Einril, who can step outside the ship with this device attached to him to be able to communicate with it. Thus, the only person being affected by the radiation will be Einril, who can absorb it. So you can shield the ship with it would only last for a very short amount of time. You could technically shield the rest of the ship and allow the conversation to happen outside the ship.
Given the radiation that everyone's already experienced, do I need, because normally that treatment would last for 4 hours, do I need to already start
Everyone should start
retreating?
Yeah.
Cool. I start
I help
giving
you-
out like
yeah, I
my
help you with that.
second.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So you will step inside the ship and...
I'm going to help you with this.
Okay. All you have to do is use the emergency power to activate the shields for as big a burst as they can do.
Yeah.
It won't last long.
It won't last long.
Communication,
Yeah.
but not a lot.
Just enough for us to talk, yeah.
Yep.
Well, okay. Do I roll for this?
It was a shared idea. I don't mind, really.
What are we trying to do?
We're rerouting the emergency power to shield the whole ship.
That seems like that would be something that you would be more effective at.
Yeah.
I would like to help.
Fine.
The way that we're doing this is I am on the inside of where the shield will be. You are on the outside of the shield where
Fine.
it would be.
No problem.
The only way that I can communicate with you at the moment is telepathically. We are working together in our heads.
Yes.
I'm activating my value. 2 heads are better than 1.
Second determination. Go for it.
Okay.
So that means it's your roll.
Oh, it's your roll, yeah.
Oh shit. That felt really
You have
cool.
2 successes
until
already.
then.
But I'm assisting you.
Yes, you are.
2 successes. Okay.
And this falls right into my focus as well.
does,
So.
Yeah.
So you roll 1 dice, Chazz.
Yep. That is a pass. Rolled 2 successes.
Grand.
I'm rolling. Fuck. What am I rolling?
You rolling.
Okay. Every time that we've done this so far has been me giving. I keep forgetting your character, Zercock assistance through the mental commanding and that.
Oh no, but this is a character moment because you need to be on the inside of the shield. It's me assisting you telepathically.
I'm not so good at that, but let me pitch the other way around so my stats are better.
You already have 4 successes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm rolling
Probably reason and engineering.
reason and engineering.
Do it.
It's 2 failures.
You need 3. You are inside the ship and this shield bubble goes up very quickly and you're able to communicate in this time with the mantis that is right there.
The radiation, the energy waves from your planet broke our ship. We didn't mean to arrive here so suddenly and damage your land. Sorry, I'm not good at speaking.
Your technology is damaged by our communication. We will cease communication until you leave.
That is appreciated. Do you know if there's any way you can speed up our departure? As you can see, our ship is badly damaged, but I'm sure our 2 civilizations have very different technologies.
Also the lines!
The subspace relay behind you crackles with, this is USS Intrepid. We're heading to your location. We should be outside the planet ready to beam everyone in. We are taking shield precautions against the Tetrion radiation, but we won't be able to have shields up and beam people inside. Please advise on another point of access. You would have to route emergency power out of the shields to talk.
This is hard. Oh, this is very hard.
That's the point.
Okay. If we drop the shields, people are going to die
Not necessarily. Might get hurt.
because of the radiation.
Might get hurt, might die. It's almost like you have to choose between the needs of the many and the needs of the few. I'm just going to give you back the stick you gave me.
If we drop the shields, I will be able to get the communication through. Oh, I hate this fucking game. Fuck this game. This is a stupid game. I touch the insignia on my chest.
Yep.
And drop the shields. USS Titanic, hearing you. We need to reroute the energy from the shields. The situation with the radiation is handled. You should be safe to drop your shield, which is true because we're...
Yes, but there is a final burst of communication from the creature to you saying, "We are sorry to have hurt you."
I'm sorry.
Never apologise.
I'm sorry our first meeting couldn't have been more pleasant.
And with that, the radiation you can see on scanners just goes down as they all stop talking to each other and the hive mind ceases. Everyone takes 2 more points of radiation.
Oh,
damage.
I was on -3 before, so
You're shielded because of the...
because
it's
of-
just the people inside.
I'm not any more vulnerable to this because of my...
You are.
but I still take 2.
Yes.
Does anyone go down in that fine? Like, I'm looking out for. Do I need to
A couple of
administer?
people do, yes.
Okay. I think because you were helping me before, I turn to you and just go, Lieutenant Commander, can you?
Yeah.
Right, and kind of tend to those 2 people.
Cool. We're going to jump forward in time a little bit. The ship arrives. You all manage to get off. The creatures do no longer communicate with you. As the ship is flying away, the radiation field does start up again because that's how they communicate. But this is all logged and recorded, and people have an understanding of how this works.
we'll probably leave a warning beacon as well.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there will be this is the best way for this to work for everyone. You find out afterwards that of the people who survived the crash, and most people did, a small percentage of the crew, very small, died from the radiation poisoning.
Yep.
Maybe 20 people.
Like 0.2%.
Like 0.2%.
Like 0.2%. Bring it up to around 2%.
All of you are debriefed. Now, we can either have... We need a bit tight on time here. Would you like to have scenes with a commanding officer debriefing you, or would you like to have scenes with each other? I'm fine with either. It wouldn't necessarily be for everyone if it's commanding officer scenes, frankly.
No.
I think that commanding officer scenes would be more interesting for...
For you?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do one for that, that's fine. And if anyone wants like another one between the 3 of you,
If that feels right to everyone.
No, I'm transferring to a starbase.
I mean, we know how your career goes on. You can have a moment there if you want. The captain's still alive.
Yeah.
I heard there's a Cardassian space station out on the outer rim. Maybe that'll be quieter.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely the war started. It's not as well known for being the best.
Fair enough.
In which case, do we end with the scene with you and the commanding officer?
Yeah.
We're okay with that?
You are aware of how proud I am of you
Not me.
because you can sense my thoughts. So
I refuse to acknowledge it.
But what does your character do, Chazz?
Also refuses to acknowledge it.
Anything in particular?
I think there's moments where I don't say it out loud, but I think it in your vicinity about. Whilst I mean, this is one case where like you can apologise. So internally, I do apologise for having relied so much upon your ability to be telekinetic than your experience with machinery and such, like, and your clear expertise there. But I know that I don't need to like say it out loud.
I have a little smile, and I change one of my values. I am. My achievements, not what I was born with. What I was born with can help me achieve even more.
Very nice.
cool.
Very, very nice.
In a very Starfleety way.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, and I just kind of thank Casey for his help in saving everyone.
Anytime.
I will hold you to that.
You are debriefed by an admiral, which is kind of odd. Very, very high-ranking officer be debriefing you after something like this. You tell them everything that happened. I've been reviewing your file with interest. Times in the past where you didn't want to make the choice that was put in front of you.
I'm not proud of every decision that I've made on that record. But every decision on there has led me to where I am.
And that's the kind of experience we value here. There's a new ship heading for the Delta Quadrant. Fact-finding, mostly. Lots of new species, new things to uncover. There is a secret aspect to your mission that I'll debrief you about later, but we need a commanding officer. Report directly to the captain. Lieutenant. Boom.
Executive producer.
How it go? How it go? Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the
Star Trek.
Yeah. If you enjoyed what we're doing, we have other Star Trek Adventures episodes. I'm going to call them episodes because they are all loosely interconnected. What are we planning? Find out later. I don't know yet, honestly. I'm still thinking about it. But, we will
Find out when we find out.
There will be other Star Trek adventures using some of the existing characters to build interesting combinations of people and interesting missions and taking them to strange places and doing exciting new things or whatever the Star Trek logo is. But yes, there will be more of those. You can find them on our YouTube or on our Twitch sometimes because we do replays sometimes. But yes, on our YouTube is the best place to look for what we are doing in terms of Star Trek. We also run other Modifius Entertainment games, and thank you for letting us run Star Trek. It's been fantastic. We'll do more.
Yeah, really good.
It's a really great game.
Really good. Yeah.
We also run their John Carter of Mars game, where we have an ongoing campaign where there will be more episodes of that, again, on our Twitch and YouTube, so keep an eye on our social media for those. We normally run D&D games, frankly. Dungeons & Dragons is our main go-to. We run on the D&D channel at twitch.tv/D&D on Monday evenings, 6 till 9.
On brand.
Yeah, Matt works
On
for
brand.
D&D, that's what that is.
Nice.
We will be streaming Baldur's Gate Framed, our ongoing current series. There's a couple more episodes to go, not many. We're very close to the
Yeah,
end.
I think we're close to the end now.
After which we will be taking a week's break, and then at Monday 6 till 9 p.m. GMT, we will be running a new Everon stream. More about that very shortly as well. Otherwise, you can find other D&D games and previous streams on our YouTube channel. There's plenty there, a whole campaign we did last year, and a bunch of other long campaigns we did as part of various live shows and festival. We also run Undergods in London. That is another D&D game that's played live at the Rosemary Branch Theatre. So you can check that out on, I think it streams on Sundays. It streams on a certain day of the week. We're still working
It's the
that one
first
out.
Tuesday of every month is the live show, and then later in that week it is live streamed.
There we go. Fantastic.
And Chloe is the amazing DM.
And Chloe's the amazing DM for that one. Yeah,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I get to play. Never happens. It's great. So, yes, good. Thank you very much. If you want to support us any other way, we have a lovely Patreon where you can become a patron of the company and support us with what we do. There's loads of homebrews and blogs about how we work and things like that on there. You also get free tickets to the events that we do, live events that we do there sometimes. So check those out. It's a good way to spread the love that way. And again, big thanks to our sponsors, Ultra Pro and D&D Beyond. We couldn't do anything we do without you. A massive thanks to you for that.
Can I throw in just very quickly?
Sure.
YouTube is youtube.com/Adventurers Wanted, and Patreon is patreon.com/Adventurers Wanted.
We're Adventurers Wanted basically everywhere except for Twitter, where we're Adventurers 250, because that was the length of the first show that we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
250 hours.
Yeah.
Not as then, not as now.
I did 90 of those
Yes,
hours.
it is. You absolutely did. Anyway, we must tie up things to do. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time. Bye.